I was just trying to find where the record thing was.
Okay. So we're actually early, so
Yeah, that's fine. It can
we
record.
recorded
We're
anyway.
going.
It is recording.
Yes, it is.
But it's,
That's fine.
we have
We
6
haven't
minutes.
started yet.
We should watch what we say.
We should always watch what we say.
Hey, be thankful we got this all started without complications this time. That's the
Yeah,
first.
you did great.
Okay, so
Recordings.
How about no thanks?
Windows backup.
You can say remind in a month, I think, 5 weeks.
Who's
30
doing
days,
that
okay.
the other day you were telling me about?
Who's one?
What's wrong with? What's
It's just
putting over
Heather.
And I haven't forgot your Windows 10. You didn't do anything by today.
What's wrong?
It's now a cloud vacancy.
Yes,
We
Heather.
got, taking care of it.
Okay.
And you? And they probably went through us. I came to learn the existence of a guy in Acton
Got some holes in it.
who
Over by Worcester.
is a senior and who does IT stuff.
Yeah.
And he just wants to make people happy.
Mm-hmm.
And he says when he's done, I'm not gonna send you a bill, just send me what you want.
Okay. And there are other people who say in Carlisle, they'll do it for free and
Yeah,
not bill you at all. So,
Well, we have one at the person who works for the COA.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, there's someone else too. Not just Bob, there's somebody else.
yeah, really. And,
Yeah,
so
I'm-
there were two key things. One, he had to make sure that all of my other major apps were up to date.
Mhm.
Second, that I had backed up in
Mhm.
case. And it turned out just a day or 2 or 3, only that, before we did it, that I finally got the invite from Microsoft to do the secure thing.
Wait a minute, the Windows 11 update or the,
No, the
pay the $30?
yeah, no, but there's no charge. If you're all up to date and everything else, it's free.
For some people it's free, for some people it's
Well, I guess they just like me.
good. I'm glad they do. I like it too. But I'm glad you're all set.
Yes.
But it's been hard to make everybody happy. And the worst thing I've seen is people who think they need a new computer. They get the new computer and they want me to transfer their data, but I want to make sure their old computer is up to date. And it says, this computer is ready for Windows 11. And they've just bought. Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Adam. I'm just calling in since I'm coming late from getting my car picked up.
Well, it's not quite 7, so we're sort of waiting. So,
So are you gonna go home and switch to a face or just stay on your phone?
I'll switch over to the computer once I get home, but yeah, long story. The dealer did not finish my car in time, and now I'm driving home from New Hampshire.
no, yuck.
Brian, I'd like to mention something before the meeting, but I'll bring it up officially when we start.
Okay, you got 1 minute.
Okay, I'm gonna request that
It's recording, so.
the, once we're official, that the LSC meeting tonight essentially guarantee that the 2 items I want to get, the budget and the stewards table, will get done tonight. Not the whole table, but at least a third of it. Last year it took us 4 meetings. Or if you can't guarantee it where they are on the agenda now, that they be moved up on the agenda.
Okay.
I think I moved one up. One is up higher than it was originally. Than it was
Right
originally.
now, they're down 9, it's 10 and
14. 11 and 14. Stewards programs.
14, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, it was, I think the stewards program
postponed so
was-
many times, and if they don't get done, I mean, the budget has to get done tonight, the draft, because then it has to be finalized next month. And I figure it'll take us 3 months to do what I'm calling Table Z, the stewards thing.
Yeah.
And I figured we'll do a third tonight, a third in November, and a third in December.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure we can get that done tonight because I have a feeling that there are other items, if necessary, if you don't think we can get done, that could be put after us on the agenda, just in case we don't have time.
Okay.
But I think it's up to everybody to decide.
Well, I think that's gonna be part of our protocol. We were saying anything we can't get to, we would put on the next meeting. But,
Yeah, I don't, that's not.
no, so, but let's move you to the front and move that.
And I think some things will, do we have the land use permits?
No,
Yeah.
No, so do we have many liaison reports?
not much. But,
So,
Well,
But I-
the thing
what-
that bothered me is the woodwork. I mean, that.
we're only giving that 15 minutes.
Yeah, I've heard that before, excuse me. You know, I've heard that before.
Okay, you just concern me because 14 on my agenda is adjournment and I think
when did you print it out?
You have to look at the one on the,
website.
Yeah,
So I'm off by an agenda.
Yeah.
yeah. Can you?
Yeah, yours are not the same.
You wanna come?
I can leave mine.
Thank you. Is that extra or just want to give it up?
No, I can deal without it.
We can share.
You want an ugly one that's wrong?
I'll share.
Okay, all right. Well, it's 7:01. We could actually start on time tonight.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. I'm Brian Murphy.
Someone else was asked. Go ahead.
I am Brian Murphy, Chair of the Land Steward Committee, and call this meeting the Land Steward Committee to order. Members present physically are Suki, Warren, Judy, Chris, Claudia, Dwight is not, Adam,
Shane is here.
Shane is, Adam is remote. I just do this so I can keep track each time. Julie is not here. And
Dwight.
but is Alex remote?
Alex is not.
No, Alex is not here.
Not here yet, at least. Okay. And remote right now, we only have Adam.
And Dwight is not.
Dwight will not be here.
Okay, he told me he was, but
I think he's downstairs in the other meeting. For this meeting, the Land Steward Committee is convening in person or by telephone or Zoom web conference as posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that other participants may be able to hear you and anything you broadcast may be used against you, may be captured by the recording. All participants should keep their phones and microphones muted unless recognized by me. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. The meeting, it's a public hearing, so public comment is permitted. I will call on each speaker to address the working group. If you wish to address the group, please click the raised hand icon or ask to speak by posting a request in the chat feature, which doesn't always work because we don't always get to look at it. And please identify yourself at the start of the remarks. Members of the community may speak if called upon, but they're limited to 3 minutes each.
No trouble with seats.
so point of order, do we
Okay.
gonna make my official request that either
Just a second, let's get,
guarantee
so we've got Alex.
Alex.
What do we get someone else to?
So we've got Sue and Sylvia. And I need chairs.
Sylvia will get the chairs. She has the keys.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, you can go ahead and make that
Okay.
public.
Sorry?
They're just public.
Okay. So the first thing on the agenda were the approval of the meeting minutes of September 16th, which was our regular meeting, and the 18th, which was the subcommittee meeting.
I didn't receive any comments about September 16 minutes. Anybody have any comments?
I did not have any comments.
I don't believe I received the September 18th subcommittee meeting.
That's because you haven't been on
They
the
were in the
packet.
same email.
No,
They were in an email. They're in the packet on the drive.
Okay.
What?
All right, so I can't comment on those.
Okay, but let's get the September 16th, the regular ones. There are no comments for those ones. Okay, so could somebody move to approve them?
Move to approve the minutes of September 16th.
Second,
Okay, so it was moved by Alex, seconded by Suki. I'll take a roll call vote. Suki,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
Judy,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Claudia, Shane,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye, and the motion passes. The minutes are approved. So the second one, personally, I haven't seen them, so I can't comment on them, so I don't know if you guys want to vote to approve them anyway, or put them off for the next meeting.
Not see if there's no votes.
I'm with Brian, same thing. I didn't see them as well. Sorry, I didn't look for the packet, so I would prefer to wait to review those.
Okay, so I think we don't need to vote for that. We can just table those for the next meeting. On the exciting bills, we have the doggy bag approvals. Do we know the dollar amount?
I didn't.
Do we want to have a discussion
No.
because Warren put out,
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's just finish the doggy bags. I'm sorry, not to put you after doggy bags, but
no, I mean, Warren
Because he
has
has a,
a thing where it says how much we've spent
Oh,
on
no,
doggy
no,
bag.
but there's no bills, so I think if we don't have the information on
Yeah.
the new bills, that's all we want.
We
oh,
don't
was
have
that just a
invoice.
placeholder? I don't think we
No.
have an invoice.
no, I think I mean, I was told to put it on. So
We
I
should
assume
see
there's,
it,
but I
too.
don't,
I mean, we should approve it soon too, but I think in the package it's sent
Yeah,
out.
right, if there's.
it wasn't in the package, no.
Oh, yeah, wasn't.
All right.
Was it in
Was
the
there?
packet?
I don't
The
think so.
invoice of some sort.
It was in
If it was in
your,
the packet, we'd have seen it.
No,
No, wait a
I
minute.
don't think it's on.
no, the only thing about the bills was your up-to-date expenses for.
Right on his
Yeah,
Excel
that was all.
spreadsheet.
We're talking about 2026 bills now.
Well,
It
but
was,
that's 2025, 2026. It's the same thing.
No,
It's just fiscal year 26,
It's
real life
yeah, but
2025.
that's,
total spent by category.
Yeah,
but that's on, yeah, that's not the bill though.
that's not, we need, if it's a new bill under the current fiscal year budget,
So I think we have to. go
We don't
make
have the
an
bill,
update
so we're gonna
to
table that as well.
Yep.
All right, and then let's switch over before we take public comment. If you want to remake your comment.
yes. I would like to ask the land stewards to, in consideration of two items on tonight's agenda, which have been long postponed. One is the review of what I call the Table Z, which was from the stewards' reports a year ago, indicating what actions should be considered during this calendar year, which is almost up. And to review that, it's an important part of the steward's annual report, which I will prepare at the end of the calendar year. And I think if we split it up into 3 meetings, this meeting and the next 2, we can take care of that. Second is going over the budget request table that was delayed several months. If we don't get those 2 done tonight, I will hold my breath until I pass out. And so I would like either to hear a commitment that we work as late as we need to with the current agenda order. Or if we don't think we're gonna make it to the end, as we often have not, that those 2 items be bumped up in the agenda. I will accept either one, a commitment to make it all the way through if we stay with the current order, or if we don't think we can make it through. I've had enough waiting, and I'd like them to be bumped up.
I think we should just take care of those things now.
I didn't hear you, Spuddy.
Personally, I think we should take care of those things now.
Do you want to make that a motion?
I
We need a
would like
motion?
to move that we take care of those items now. So,
Well, I would like to take care of them now too.
or
But I was wondering if we maybe should just do it right
right after land use permits.
for the 2 Rod Road and before the
Oh,
Woodward.
yeah, we should.
Okay,
Yeah,
Alan
we
is
did.
waiting here.
Yeah,
Alan is
okay.
even waiting.
Yeah,
Let's
that's-
make them
So-
items,
Af-
8 and 9. Okay,
That sounds terrific.
So I move that we make these items 8 and 9 on tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
And I think we need a real roll call vote. We could just make a, we have that called a verbal vote. Everyone's, sorry?
I don't know that that's a votable
Thing.
issue.
Okay.
Okay,
I think that's fine.
Sounds good.
okay. So the next thing, which is sort of new on our agenda, is to try to take some public comments from people in advance of things maybe that we don't have on our agenda or other things people want to talk about. I don't know if there's anything new. I will quickly mention, because it's new and we don't have it on our agenda, that the Boy Scout permit for tonight to have a fire was done by Conscom because it was tonight that they were gonna have the fire and we didn't have time to approve it, so Conscom approved their fire for tonight and as opposed to the LLC. So it was out of protocol, but it was the only way you could do the public service and allow them to burn in the parking lot of Lost Farm.
Okay,
But,
just as a, related to that, will somebody be checking this site soon, tomorrow?
yeah, I can.
Somebody should. As people should remember, Judy has found problems in the past.
Well, we had problems with the Boy Scouts 2 weeks ago. So we'll have to deal with that at another point. But what about really public comment? Anything that's not on the agenda?
Brian, can you take a roll call of any members of the public that are there? I don't believe you've announced it.
Oh, we don't, I don't think you ever do that. I don't think we roll call the public, but if anybody wants to identify themselves?
No.
No, and also there's somebody online in the public, Adam, that I don't know if anybody wants to identify themselves.
That's Ellen Akers of the
No, Conrad
both
Hertz.
trails and ACCF.
So
Yeah,
it
and
doesn't,
hello, everybody. Conrad Hertz from 2 Maple Street.
Woodward first. Welcome.
Thank you.
okay, so guess we'll go on to liaison reports. I guess I already started to do that in a way. As Conscom, we approved 2 permits, 2 land use permits that would have been done by LSC because we didn't have time. One was the Boy Scouts should be having a fire right now. And the police said, leave my cell phone on, so I guess there's no problem.
I'm sorry, did we do liaison reports?
We're doing it, we're on A.
Okay. Oops, I'm sorry.
And the second one was a permit to use a camera to see if the beaver activity has ceased at the bog. But tomorrow the trapper is gonna go out, so I don't think we want to see that video. So we've tried for a while to eliminate the beavers using repellents, but it seems to have been totally ineffective. I don't think there's any other Conscom comments unless, well, except Sylvia is now a member of the Conservation Commission. And that's,
Excuse me, Brian, I have a public comment if you.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So I'm on month 8, hoping to talk about the Woodward Field. Would you mind if, Warren, would you be so kind as to go after the Woodward Field? Because usually we're at the very end, month after month after month.
I think it's been approved and I've been waiting since February for one of my things, so they have to be done. This is official business that needs to be done within a certain specified time, so I think too many times we've seen the Woodward discussion go much too long, so no, I don't think I want to take a chance.
but anything we can't cover tonight, our agreement before, and I guess we haven't got to that yet either, because this list is all different, is that we're gonna, anything we can't do tonight, then we would have to agree to continue the meeting to next Tuesday night. And if we, hopefully not, but if we cut off just before Woodward, that would be the first and main thing on the meeting the following week, not the following month or year. We'd get right to it, so. So Sylvia, unless you have anything else to say about CONSCOM that affects this,
No, not at this point.
I don't think so.
There's your
So,
camera.
oh, you put a camera out there?
No, I just got it today from a moderator, actually.
Oh,
Is that at the bog?
Huh?
Is that at
That's in the bog, yeah.
Yeah, is it looking at the rain gauge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw it this afternoon.
Yeah, the rain gauge is there, yeah.
but George just lent me his camera, which I was gonna set up, but, I heard back that the trapper's coming tomorrow, so I don't think this is, it's not necessary, anything to watch. Anything from the Ag Commission liaison?
Chris?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was, I wasn't able to attend everything. We do have, we did get invited to the ice cream social up at the, at Mark's Dairy Farm, to get a tour and to, just with other town committees. So, you should have all got that from Susan.
And free ice cream isn't a bribe because it's less than $10.
I don't know. I didn't say the ice cream was free. And I'm not sure it is.
And what's the time?
Oh,
Are they 18?
3 to 5 this Saturday.
3 to 5 or 3 to
Yep.
6?
This Saturday.
Anybody from ESC?
Christine is not here.
Okay. And the select board?
Nothing.
Hi, everybody. I'm Barney Arnold, representing the select board. While the public presentation of the fire station renovation is going on downstairs, and that will be one of the big items of the town warrant for the November 2nd or 3rd, depending on where the nights meetings fall at our town meeting. The other thing, it's very small, but the, if you've been looking at what was planned to be on the warrant, the Banta Davis CPA project, which was accidentally underfunded when they requested at our spring meeting, we were going to submit a warrant. We had submitted a warrant item, we being the CPC, of which I'm the chair, about the CPA funds. It turns out that with the money that we did as a town approve last spring, they had enough to complete the work. So that's great news because it was actually funded $20,000 less than they asked for. And if you haven't been to Banta in a little while, the track has been newly paved, and there's some new paved accessible parking spaces, and there's some more work planned, but it's already covered by the existing budget. I think that's all, unless people have any questions about town meeting.
Is there anything that we should be taking stands on for the town meeting? You know,
Well,
I don't want to get
the three-
dressed now from
Yeah, there's 3,
a moderator again.
right,
As a committee, you mean?
Yes, he's always saying, which would be committees?
right. Well, there are 3 items on the warrant. The first one is the MBTA Act, and you might need to have another meeting to, if you
Right,
wanted
we
to
gotta
take
do
a
that.
position on that. The second one is the fire station renovation, and so what's being asked of the town is the second phase of funding to end up with construction documents that then could be put out to bid. And then for the spring town meeting, assuming this fall town meeting approves that, then for the spring town meeting, we would actually have the cost and be asked to vote on the full renovation package. And the third one is the demo delay bylaw. Excuse me, I should be calling it the demo review bylaw. And if you haven't had a presentation from them, you might want to go online, just as an individual, and take a look at it. Unless you're going to meet again before November 2nd, you'd want to have more conversation that you could have tonight to take a position.
But I don't think the LSC would take a position on something like that. We're only,
Thanks.
I mean, I can see, we might, it's a little bit of a stretch, we might take an opinion, on the fire station, because we'd rather that the town conservation land doesn't burn, right? But otherwise,
Well, it might be, for instance, if you looked at the, it would be really, you're right. I mean, the demo review bylaw would only be something that,
individuals,
individuals.
Yeah, but I
concerned
mean,
about.
just relating to what Chris said, are the things, I can't see that we formally make a recommendation about
Right,
demoing, you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
or the MBTA, I mean, it's not gonna,
Well, the one thing about the MBTA is if you look at the 6 proposed locations, some of them do abut conservation land. But that,
but that's like, then we could become NIMBYs.
Yeah.
That's Conscom, has to decide about that.
I'm just
Yeah.
giving you
Let them handle the
one rationale why we should do something. But
Brian,
That's all good.
Yeah,
if you've got a big megaplex next to a piece of conservation land, that then does become a conservation land management issue, because you've got all kinds of, yard waste, dumping, animals, but not necessarily great use of the conservation land next door.
That's an issue that's been widely discussed in town. I'm not sure we'd have, unless we called a special meeting to weigh in.
Yeah.
I think that's once lot has been zoned, I think once it's zoned, then we can
Have an
get
opinion.
involved. Yeah.
Decided.
I wasn't suggesting you take it up tonight, I'm pointing out that big development next to a piece of sensitive land is an issue.
okay. So we also had the meeting protocol document, I don't know if people got to take a look at that.
I did. There's just a couple of comments I wrote down that on the say 5A, the meeting protocols. There's just one line about the chair halting discussion. And I think there should be some more. I don't remember seeing it stand out like that before, but I think there should be something either amended to that, or like there are times to hold discussions and there are times we shouldn't hold discussion, right? That I think there should be right. It just talks about the chair's discretion, which I looked up in Robert's rules, if
Yeah.
you want to stop discussion, you have a 2/3 vote to stop discussion. You don't just stop discussion. It's not up to the chair to stop the discussion. So that was my only objection to the first part for that sentence, just to put some, either to move it to another meeting or, move it to committee, or, it shouldn't just say the chair can just end the debate.
No more kings, yeah.
Right. So that's my only comment on that.
So what about
I
the
didn't really
opposite?
come up with a good alternative, or
How about for an alternative, that you
amendment.
could vote for more time? You could ask for, like
I mean, all
like
those
you do in
things
the
would be
government.
good, would be a better discretionary thing for the chair to do than just the whole discussion. The way it's written, it just says whole discussion.
So what if we said, I'm sorry, but I think you've gone over time, you've spoken enough. Do we as a board then, or as a committee, want to vote to, give more time to Chris?
Well, I don't think it's just I think it's discussion on the whole topic, not just a certain person. Is my understanding for that,
Yeah.
the halting discussion of the whole thing.
It sort of stands on its
So if
own.
everybody
document.
said,
So we vote
Chance.
on once, you're saying?
right,
Okay.
yeah, and then people were going around again.
Which should only be for new information,
Right,
not to repeat what you said.
Yes.
It's not closing arguments.
You could change the language a little bit to say something like, at the discretion of the chair, he or she may ask for, he or she may say we have X number of minutes left on this topic and then we need to move on in order to, get to the rest of the agenda or something like that. We give a
Yeah, I might say that to Warren later.
remaining number of minutes, yeah.
Yeah, my hearing is not so good.
So something like the chair will,
I think you
when
just,
be the timekeeper that will remind all discussants when time is running short. Or when.
yeah, at the discretion of the chair, they may give a time limit on remaining conversation on that agenda item, something like that, remaining discussion.
No filibuster, huh? So-
That's very common. I mean, certainly the select board works that way where the chair can say, we're running over time or we only have 2 minutes left for this discussion, et
So,
cetera.
The chair will.
so should we have, like, the chair has the discretion to put a time limit on the discussion?
Or will be responsible.
Well, we should see what the select board does, because there's no reason to reinvent the wheel.
Okay,
Do you have in the bottom of yours notes, so there's that standard language that says something like, I have to look at it, it's something like the agenda items are those that were known at the time of posting. The discretion has the chair.
That's
has the
number
discretion
16, topics
to
not
move.
reasonably anticipated. That's what,
Yeah, but
I think,
there's actual language that a number of the committees
Okay.
just include at the bottom of their agenda, but it gives the chair discretion to move things around or shorten or, adjust the agenda as needed, something like that. But
so we'll look up
you can
the,
do it with this sentence too, the way you were going.
do you want me to look up what the select board does and adjust it? And do it again next time?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know that there's any rush that we need to
No.
get it resolved here tonight.
I also have a comment on the change of use protocol, item number 6, which says review of all input above for final assessment recommendation and plan development, if appropriate. Could that somehow reflect the fact that the development of the plan is still done by this group? It sort of implies that the process is organic and everybody's input is of the,
Okay.
but it's the committee that decides what the
Yeah.
plan is.
So the final assessment is done by Ellis. the committee.
Right. The LSC will review, or the stewards will review all of these things and put together.
So the final determination of the change of use is still by Ellis. Yeah, okay.
Right.
okay.
I was waiting for that agenda item. My comments were on the first part of that document. The change of use protocol, I had a couple comments on that as well.
Okay.
I think we should add, we've got stakeholder review, identifying interested parties. I think, we should look at these changes. And this has been a comment that we've received, that we should look at them against like the town's master plan and against existing bylaws, for instance. I think that's just something we should keep in there as reminders.
So you want
Those
to
two things.
add in, besides looking at the stakeholders, to look at the
Well,
master plan?
yeah, as maybe another
Okay,
item is to review the proposal against the town's master plan and review the proposal against other bylaws. I think we've not always done that.
Agree with that suggestion. And Brian, if you can just allow me in the other Zoom, please, so I can switch over.
Oh, I'm sorry. Suki, can you?
Oh,
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. Thank you.
Oh, and Margie?
It's here.
So we had a comment from the public, but I know, you have to wait a second. Before that,
I
yeah.
just have a comment on the change of use protocol, and that is, I mean, I think all of these
Right, we can turn that off.
items that you've identified
Oh.
are,
Can you mute Margie, because
all of these items that have been identified in the change of use protocol are great, but at the end of the day, the Conservation Commission has the statutory authority to manage the conservation land. So all of this should be directed towards creating a recommendation for the Conservation Commission to approve and to review and approve.
let me know when you're ready, Suki. I didn't wanna,
Yep, no, that's okay.
you're all set?
Mhm.
So is, anybody else on the commission, on the board have a comment?
So we'll all get one more chance to look at this. Thank you.
So Alex, just to be clear, what you're saying is that the, these licenses should be reformulated as provisional to be sent to Conscom for Conscom's approval.
Well, I
Is
think
that- Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was just limiting myself to the change of use protocol.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're-
no,
We're
you're right.
talking about. a
But the other
change.
part, they've already, in our new charter, that's something that Conscom gave to us, so we do the land use permits. The only reason we did two at Conscom last week was that we weren't gonna meet before the time.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what the point that Alex was making.
This is if-
So if this is the land use, is, I think he's saying if there's a property change of use,
Right.
Right,
then we are making what we decide then has to go to Conscom for final approval.
I think that's always been understood.
Anybody else?
Did Woodward go to Conscom?
Came from Conscom. We didn't have the authority at the time. Came the other way.
It started, the change of use started at Conscom.
So for example,
Finished it.
the documents that went to the attorneys, to the town council, we didn't do any of that. That was already pre-done by Conscom. We didn't get control until I think the 12th of January, when the select board approved what the Conscom had decided for us in December.
But they'd already done the half part of the field as.
Right. I guess it brings up an age-old question here. What exactly has been delegated by Conscom and what hasn't, right?
It's not age old, it's from January.
It's from-
So
that's what
you
I
look in
meant.
the charter.
I meant from the ages since January.
Oh, we have. Look at the charter. If you think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not, not definitive enough or specific enough, then I bring it up at another meeting and we'll make it more specific
So
with their approval.
what I've written is, Para reminds everybody that Conscom has the statutory right to change the use of the Carlisle conservation lands. So if LSC plans a change of use, it should be deferred back to Conscom.
Yeah, well, the protocol is go through the steps identified
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
and make a recommendation to Conscom.
Recommend.
Recommendation. Right.
That recommendation should be. Right, so that should actually get a separate number.
Yes, yep,
I'll
I
send
agree.
this to you.
Okay.
Send this to you and you can figure out.
yep.
Just Sylvia had a comment first.
I just wondered what you were really meaning by the term change of use. Because it's kind of a loaded phrase in terms of conservation land. It usually refers to doing things like changing a piece of conservation land to, say, a parking lot or a school, something like that. So when I see change of use, it's, so are you talking more in terms of, say, changing the use from, say, agriculture to, you know,
I guess how about cranberry bog from bog to actual cranberries again?
I don't even know if that's a change of use, but how about,
that's still agriculture.
how about the field across from the dump? Which
It's,
could have, it might be licensed as corn. Yes,
Fiskfield,
it
yeah.
could be licensed as corn, but Duffy could want it to be hay,
mhm.
and that would be a change of, because those are different kinds of permits.
Oh, so it's not a change of use so much as a change of crop.
Well, it depends on what it
Change
is.
in use.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a different permit.
I suggest,
The hay permits are for 5 years, the corn is for 1 year.
Or say we suggest letting it lie fallow and not permitting it at all and just
Right.
mowing it.
But I don't know if we would have to go back to Conscom for that. So I don't know, have you read our charter?
Yes.
Okay.
so
I think it's,
let me suggest that we should not argue here about the details, but be conservative in the sense that we communicate with Conscom. And if there's any question, make sure it's a mutual agreement as to whether or not. I don't want to see us list a change from corn to hay needs their thing, or from, green to gray, or I would just say that we should check with them and that we should always do that if there's any doubt, because we have to work together and we need a copacetic relationship and want to maintain that. So we just check with them. That's why we have.
Well, I just asked the question because I didn't know what you were referring to.
But I had one more comment on that, that I think if we are gonna do a change of use, even before it goes back up to Conscom, one thing it looks like we've been lacking in is clearly informing not just stakeholders, but abutters. And do we need, maybe we don't need certified mail, but I mean, sort of like Conscom, do we need something that we know? And there's somebody here who didn't know, Conrad said he didn't know we were changing the use of the Woodward property, and maybe other people didn't know. So if we were talking about doing that, do we need a certified abutters list and send out notifications so that people know? I don't think it could hurt. Maybe it doesn't have to be certified, but
Well, the
Also, that's
certificate
why
of
we
mailing
have
is a lot cheaper.
lawyers.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I
I'm sorry.
said, that's why we have lawyers. Lawyers are solve these problems for us. They'll
Well, now we have Alex.
So change of use.
Do you agree that we should notify, or is that something that would be practical for us to?
But remember, change of use is not just from, I don't know, one type of agriculture to another. So if it stays agriculture, there is no change of use.
see, Judy, somebody will argue that against us.
I would say that changing from hay to, I haven't forgotten you, but you. I'm changing from hay to corn or vice versa is a different agricultural.
It's agriculture,
Yeah, see, but-
but it's still agriculture as
Yeah,
compared
and I
to.
think that's an arguable point, and that's why we could check with Conscom, and or if it looked like a legal issue, check with town council. I don't think we need to decide that particular example tonight, but just agreed to be cooperative and to seek counsel with the conscom and or with town council and work it out to mutual satisfaction, mutual agreement.
I would think we wouldn't go to town council until after we went to
Yeah,
conscom.
yeah, absolutely,
because
I agree.
Conscom's the one paying for town council, so.
Yeah.
We wouldn't really go rogue
We
on our
make it
own.
come out of their budget, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense, Brian, that if there's a change in agriculture where it yields a different type of lease, but also if the change in use, even if it's within the same category, changes the neighborhood, it has a different effect on its abutters. If it's, maybe corn and grazing doesn't have a different effect, but maybe, opening an, some very well frequented thing does have a change. So
Or we
it's
allow
not
the Boy
just-
Scout Jamboree every weekend.
Yeah. So it might have an effect on other on a more wider look. That is a change in use.
I hear you. I don't know if you know about this chapter 97.
Well, I think I watched the video of the breakout meeting, and I think that there was some people upset about saying chapter 97. I have to talk to other people about what I'm doing. Is that the one?
Well, it's Article 97.
Article
Sorry,
97?
not that.
And I think that the comments at that meeting were more in favor of, that's not how Carlisle treats each other.
I hear what you're saying. I'm saying if that's the law, you could say the same thing about the bog and you want to treat it differently. And some of us in this room did want to treat it differently than Conscom.
Mhm.
But that took, in that case, it took a 10 citizen appeal of what was going on. So I don't think it does a forward look. If you didn't want corn in the Woodward field, I think we'd listen to you, but the public is not the final arbiter.
Understood. It's just not acting as an oligarchy is all I'm asking.
Yeah, okay, got it. Anything else on this? I think we need to do more later.
Need some more work.
All right.
And these comments we talked about already?
There weren't any,
Right.
but that's not in the order of this list right now.
What is item C?
It was, well, A was done by Conscom, B hasn't been received, and C, the update. For the one, there was an update for the,
So I didn't know, so at one point, the first two, I don't think we've had, they haven't given you the permits, the rocket launch.
Right, but can we finish the C under the protocol?
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
sorry.
So this was on, based on talking to, Ryan, both for Conscom chair and LSC chair. And I'll just give my example. If the Boy Scout troop that came out didn't follow what we said, and if they lit the field on fire, I don't have the authority to tell them to go home. I can't cancel their permit. And if George, as chair of Conscom, decided, which he did, he said, you can go out and try to repel the beavers. We'll hold off on the trapper. And Ryan said, George is just a member of Conscom. He has no authority to change a vote, even temporarily. And we voted to give the Boy Scouts a permit to have a fire. We told them specifically what to do. They didn't do it. And I have no recourse. I'd have to publish a meeting and we'd all have to meet and throw them out. And we can't do that, at 8 o'clock at night, the night that they're having the fire. So Ryan said, you need to go back to your boards and give temporary authority. Or the conservation, so it'd be a chair, a co-chair, a vice chair, and the conservation agent would all have the authority to temporarily change the decision we made because it's urgent, not arbitrarily. But we'd have to vote on that and approve it. I can't believe that the chair of Conscom doesn't automatically have that. in Cohasset, on our conscom, we didn't have an agent, we all had the authority. Anybody could go out and say, this is wrong, well, that's what you approved, nope, you have to stop. Nobody argued with us. I don't know what's,
Well, under the Wetlands Protection Act, members of the Conservation Commission have authority to issue emergency orders. They then have to go back and get them approved by the
Right.
body.
but what do we do here with, and again, it's not the town Boy Scouts, it was the kids last week. Not that they had to be thrown out, but what if they did?
Right, isn't the answer that we should amend the form permit to just have a clause that says, any member of the LSC can issue emergency order to,
That would be good, yeah.
Or even Conscom.
or conscom or both.
Or the agent, I think, because it could come in
Yeah.
to her, and I assume she would inform whatever chair, but, so that would apply to that land use permit. How about if Grow Native starts, pouring DDT onto the field?
You would certainly want that authority.
Right, so that's again, any member?
I think so. Why, I mean,
Oh, I
when
don't
emergencies
know.
arise, they arise most of the time, just coincidentally that, you're walking there.
Right, or
I'm
you're what,
walking
yeah,
there.
right. Okay, and I guess then we need that the member informs the chair and co-chair of their stopping it, right? I wouldn't want to get to the next meeting and find out.
Yes, but I think we're talking about a generic addition to every land use permit, which doesn't need to include the taxing, but just includes the statement that who has the authority to issue an emergency,
Stoppage.
or something.
And it could
So-
be ag, not just land use. If
So
we
Grow Native
told
isn't a
Duffy
land use permit.
he couldn't use atrazine if we did.
Yeah.
And one of us goes out and there's a 55-gallon drum of atrazine,
Yeah.
we should be able to say no.
Yes, I agree.
So it has to be
But I think it's simple. As Alex said, you just have a generic statement on each land use, but saying that,
but then also on licenses.
On licenses too.
okay, yeah, license as well as on land use permit.
And maybe we change our charter to say any member can stop something that's within our jurisdiction or purview or something. I don't know what there is besides ag and land use.
Let's keep it simple and now just say land use permit or a license.
What did you say, want to say?
So under the general bylaws, the Conservation Commission, when it was written, it wasn't the land use, has the authority to fine for violation of the rules and regulations on conservation land. In my tenure, that didn't actually have to happen. But prior to it, there apparently were some wicked interesting parties I think on toll or something like that. And there was.
You mean parties, not parties?
Parties that were considered a violation of the conservation land. And I know there was at least one, let's say, fining instrument sitting for $100 or something that came due early on in my tenure. And so we were able to get it into the Conservation Commission's land fund. But at any rate, perhaps that would be a good thing to look at too, because, well, I think normally people honor conservation land. And I don't think it's wise to be constantly threatening them, but having it there and knowing you've got the fining if something egregious happens, like burning down the field for Boss Farm, it's good to know you've got that. So become familiar with it.
So I realized I went over that at Conscom, but I didn't go over that here. We made it very clear they could only burn in the parking lot in a container, and they burned out in the field. And we told them they could only park in the parking lot and certainly not out on the grassland, which may have, critical or endangered species on it, or these tiger beetles, et cetera. And guess what? The gate was open, so down they went, and they drove down there and parked there and lit their fire and didn't care. So that's why this is all coming up.
So the ability to fine requires a bylaw. Conscom has that ability. We don't. We would need a bylaw to authorize that.
Can we kick it back up to Conscom?
Yeah, I would just, so that would be my suggestion is we ought to have the authority to go out and say, no, stop. And then if it becomes, you know, if there's a desire or feeling that there should be a fine, that should go back up to Conscom. And I'd just say as a general rule, if you can issue a fine, people don't pay it.
Right.
You gotta go to district court. It's usually a nightmare, not worth it.
When you say it was clear, was that in their permit?
It was-
Permit?
Yes.
I
it
don't,
was.
well, it was in their land use permit. It doesn't make it as clear in the camping permit. But I had, when we rejected his land use permit, because it was, first of all, the wrong form, and second of all, we had no feedback from them. I sent him a long letter, which he replied to, reminded him of what our rules were, you know, and that he could only have a campfire in the parking lot, and he could only do it if it was approved by the fire chief and reported into dispatch, so they knew there was a fire going, which should, and I don't know if that happened tonight. When I was driving here, I called the police and said, did they call you yet for the fire? Because it's dark out, right? I would think they'd have the fire going
No,
on
call
now.
the fire, you mean the fire station? You didn't call the police, call the fire.
No, the
Dispatch.
police dispatcher asked to call.
On all the fire permits, I called the fire department.
But that's, I'm just telling you what I was told to do.
Fire department's a little busy tonight.
Right. And Brian Sorrows said, have them call dispatch, meaning police dispatch. I think when people call 911,
It's all dispatch.
it's all dispatched.
Right, but for a fire permit, you call the fire department.
I don't,
You-
okay.
Well, this is what I've been told by the fire chief. You wanna have a fire in your fire pit, you call the non-emergency number and you tell them you wanna have a fire in your fire pit. And say, thanks for calling.
But it's also on the land use permit. So every single land use permit says
Right,
you need, if you're gonna have a fire, you need to discuss this and get permission from the fire
In
station
advance.
in
So
advance.
Brian might have said yesterday, if it was dry as could be, the Boy Scouts, I'm not giving them a permit for tonight. He could decide that. So that's a separate step. And then it was Brian who said, have them call into the police dispatch and record it, because it's frankly, the fire department knows about it, but if somebody drives by and sees a fire, they might call the police, right? So I think that, I don't know if we do a fire log like the police log, I think it all gets logged.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's no
So-
separate file.
they don't log the,
But this all
non-emergency
goes,
number.
this all goes back to the fact that we probably have to sit down with Megan and Sylvia and clarify all land use permits and have the land use permit include a section for camping permit or include a section for collection permit, that kind of thing, all one thing. So we have it clear, it's clear with Megan, it's clear with Conscom, it's clear with LSC. So,
Well, that's my point is, I think if we wanna make it, it has to be documented. And, you know, we've learned that emails are not the greatest documentation, right? So I agree. So we want, it's gotta be clear in the permit on what's required to be done. I think the fire stuff in our form is in a really tiny font at the bottom, which is probably a mistake.
But this was beyond that. This particular troop, we told him they needed to come out and meet with us and discuss it, and he wouldn't do it. He just ignored that, and that's why I gave him a little riot act and said, you have to do all these things, or you can't come out. And did you receive that? Do you understand it? And he wrote back and said, yes, and then didn't do it. He said, it wasn't them, it wasn't the adults, the kids just got too exuberant, so they made the fire in the field.
We're out of control. I just want to point out it wasn't the Carlisle Boy Scouts.
Correct, it was not.
Who are invariably good.
Yes.
Speaking of which, they did ask,
Right.
what they could do for us, as a service project. Because we
We
let
come
them,
back. The Carlisle Boy Scouts?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not the other ones, no. Yeah, don't come back.
Did you get my email today?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but it was
Well,
too late to bring into this meet, the whole thing into this meeting. But
well, I can tell you what they've done in the past. You want to
it's
take-
not
Okay, so
not
let's-
tonight.
Yeah, to-
Let's go on.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go on.
All right.
I think we should take care of Alan and Steve,
Okay,
so they can go.
okay.
Well, we don't have any more land use permit stuff, right?
Oh, so the rocket launch for the Cub Scouts, Duffy was opposed to it because he's harvesting the rye he put in the field. And he doesn't want them to leave nichrome wire and
Yeah, good.
it's hardware
It's
disease.
risk, yeah.
The Boy Scouts for the overnight haven't applied yet. And I already gave you an update on the 2 land use permits. It was for the Boy Scouts for tonight and the trail cam at the bog to watch the beavers. So actually, Chris, you have a trail cam watching. That probably needs a land use permit. Is that water
It's not a
gauge?
trail cam.
Oh, it's not.
It's a time lapse camera.
Okay, but is it taking a picture of town property or your property?
It's taking a picture of
Rain gauge.
a rain gauge and a.
But it is sort of approved because it was requested by the H&H study.
Right.
I know, I just didn't know if we need to give him a permit if he's doing it on.
I don't know, it's
Where's the
requested to
gauge?
do it.
Already
I
talked
said I would
about it.
try it.
All right,
We had talked about it.
Okay.
Let's just go on.
all right,
You're fine.
Yeah, we.
I don't think anything past the
We can-
gauge is gonna be in focus.
good,
It's a
okay,
very short focal length camera.
okay.
It's not-
Okay, Alan.
No,
No, it's not
it's
easy.
aimed north,
I
so
saw it
that
today.
it won't, the sun won't affect the photographs.
So 2 Rod Road, trail improvements?
Hi, thanks, Brian. Alan Ankers from the Carlisle Trails Committee. Brian, would you like me to do pretty much the same length presentation I did for Conscom, or shorter or longer? Same thing?
Yeah, just one sec, we're gonna make you louder. Maybe not
Okay.
that loud.
Go ahead.
Screen sharing working? Can you all see that?
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Getting there.
Yep.
Okay. So we're looking to do some more work in improving the 2 Rod Road Trail, which runs from the Malcolm Meadows parking lot down to the town line, heads towards Estabrook Woods. It's a 350-year-old road that went from Carlisle to Concord that's long abandoned as a road and has now been a trail for some time. The old road bed has become somewhat dished. It's kind of sort of sunk in the middle a little bit, and there's been a buildup of organic matter over the years, and poor drainage there have resulted in large muddy areas, which make the trail very difficult to use in wet conditions. 2 years ago, it was very bad all year round. This year, it's been pretty decent, and last year was not too bad either. But because there's such a large amount of wet, muddy area here, typically the Trails Committee will deal with wet areas by boardwalks, but doing a boardwalk like almost a mile to the town line at Concord just seemed too daunting and didn't really seem realistic, or even a series of boardwalks didn't seem very good. So we decided to explore alternatives to boardwalks. And last year we consulted with the trail building crew from the Appalachian Mountain Club. They came out and looked at the site, talked to us about it, and they recommended what they know as a turnpike technique, which I'll go over in detail in a little while. But it's essentially hardening the trail with gravel, digging out the wet, muddy stuff from the trail and replacing it with better draining and more solid gravel, which is retained by small little rock walls at each side. Essentially, when I say a rock wall, it's basically just a row of rocks to keep the gravel in place. Obviously, we can't do this in wetland areas, so there are some areas where we're going to have to do something like a boardwalk in the wetlands. But we tried the turnpike technique last fall on a 60-foot long section. If you can see my cursor here up near the trailhead, just where the high water trail leaves the 2-rod road, we did a 60-foot long section of trail, and our feeling is that it gives it a much better end product than a boardwalk. We think it'll last a lot longer. It's not as slippery. It's just a more resilient surface. It's also way cheaper by a factor of about 10 than doing boardwalks. The downside is that it's much more labor intensive, probably 2 to 3 times as much labor. I think we had something like 300 volunteer hours to build a 60-foot long section last year. So this spring, we looked at the entirety of the section of trail from Markham Meadows to the town line and came up with this master plan that you see here of how to address the rest of it. And we identified 9 areas of concern and how we were going to deal with each one. So I'm not going to go into that in all detail, but I'll just sprint through it quickly. So these 9 conditions, 9 situations, locations, we have a proposed solution for each one. It's mostly some form of turnpike construction. So, sorry to flip around here. So locations C and D, you see in red there, jurisdictional wetlands. That means that we're going to have to build some boardwalks. We can't put gravel in the wetlands, but they're being deferred at least until next year. So location A is the one we're dealing with this year. It's about 110-foot long section. And this is what I mean by turnpike technique. So this little schematic diagram here, the gray at the bottom is meant to represent the old roadbed, which is mostly gravel, pretty hard surface. And then the brown is a buildup of organic matter. And then you can see how it kind of has like a dish shape here. And these are just some schematic rocks. There's a lot of rocks beyond the outside of the trail. It's a typical idea of rocks in fields being brought up by frost heave, and there are a lot of them around this area that we'll be able to use for the next part of this. So the first step of this is to dig out all of the soft material from the trail. There'll be a bunch of rocks in there, which we'll take out and hold over to use elsewhere. And then we dig a little trench on each side to receive the sidewalls, which the sidewalls get built by taking the rocks that were out here, putting them at the side. And this kind of makes a little wall on each side of the trail that we then come in and fill with gravel. So this is all very simplified, of course. It's a lot more complicated in when you're out in the field, because it's all bumpy, it's not straight, and there are big rocks and small rocks, but that's essentially the way we go about it. So on this 110-foot long section, you can see that in the lower left of the photo here, that's the last part of the section of turnpike that we did last year. This is the rock wall at the side, this is the gravel in the middle, and then this is the kind of muddy area in the middle there, in the middle of the trail beyond. And this is the area we're going to be addressing this time. Out of that 110-foot long section, about 60 feet of it will be conventional turnpike like this. Sections at each end, about 20 or 30 foot long, are not as severe. So those we think we can just do by putting gravel in the low spots and not having to build the sidewalls. So we're planning on doing the work on Friday and Saturday this weekend. We've had 10 tons of gravel delivered to the trailhead by the DPW. Thanks to Jimmy for that. And we've also got a volunteer group from National Grid doing a work bonding day on Friday morning, helping us out. And in addition to that, our fire chief is going to help us out with his little mini backhoe machine, which you can use to kind of move around some of the larger boulders. So that's a quick overview. My goal here is to do a similar thing as you guys were talking about with Conscom, basically make sure you know what we're doing, so we don't do something that you don't like and you come back and say, what are you guys doing out there? What a mess you've made. So we want to make sure you know what we're doing. We think this is the best way to do it. We've put a lot of thought into it. And this is our second phase of, it's going to be a multi-year project, but we're pretty optimistic that we can eventually get it done. That's it. Any questions, anybody? Or comments?
What do you do with the muck that you dug out.
Ah, okay. I'm just gonna go back to share again. So these little brown bits here is a schematic way of saying that any boulders that we dig out from elsewhere, we put the muck in there. The rest of it just kind of gets spread around because it's basically organic soil material. So we find areas of bare ground or rocks and we kind of distribute it around in the nearby area, still between the two stone walls of the old road, which is, so Two Rod Road is 33 feet wide. The rod is an old English measure of length that's 16.5 feet. I could go into more depth as to why it's that, but I won't.
Thank you.
So this is just informational. You don't need any approval from us, actually.
I don't think I need approval unless you think otherwise. But it's mostly just making sure that you're informed and you're happy, you don't have any objections, and you don't think that we need to get it approved. Yes.
And you already went to ConsCon before us.
We did that last week, yes. And we also did the same thing last year, and I think last year I just talked to Judy about it and told her what we were doing, and she didn't think we needed to bring it to a meeting last year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
That's it.
Yep, you're off the hook.
All right. Thanks,
Alan,
everybody.
Alan, you should at least ask for volunteers.
Oh yeah, we have a sign-up sheet for volunteers. So you can do one or two things. You can read the mosquito and find out where to sign up, or you can send an email to me and I'll add you to the sign-up sheet. But Saturday and Sunday we have morning and afternoon sessions, so 9 till 12 in the morning and 1 till 4 in the afternoon.
Can I drive the backhoe?
I don't have the power to give you that permission, but if you talk nicely to Brian, he might let you.
Then you might be the wetland violator if you're within 100 feet.
Okay, serving lunch.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess we agreed to switch over to Warren.
Okay. Everybody should have had a copy of what I'm temporarily calling this table Z, which contains my summary of any recommendations that you, the stewards, submitted on your 2024 end of the year stewards form. And your recommendations we will review. I think we'll split it into 3 meetings because I think each recommendation should have a brief review by the whole committee. And I will record and Claudia will help me because I'll check her notes in the right-hand blank column, what we agree. And the agreement might say, yes, do it and name the person who will be responsible, or they might say postpone for a while, or it might say no need to do it. It's up to us to decide what action, if any, we want to take. And had we done this in January of this calendar year, we would have been doing the actions during this calendar year. So it just means any actions will have to come in the future. And I hope in the future years, if we review these earlier in the calendar year, people will have things to do during their idle summer. So here's the way we do it. If you have your copy of this table available, it might help, but otherwise I will go through item by item and read the description of the problem and then open it for discussion. But hopefully people will get to the point and say, yes, I agree, or it should be done, or no, do it this way. Because we don't have time for a long philosophical discussion of each one. There are 6 pages to this table. If we split it up into October, November, and December meetings, which is fine with me, then I will have the complete table to include in the 2025 annual stewards report. So if we can do 2 pages tonight, I will be happy. If we can do more, but I'd like to try and get 2 pages. Are we ready to start?
Shall I pull it up on the screen? Do you like it up on the screen?
Yeah, wonderful.
Be great. Warren, while he pulls that up on the
Somebody needs to let me in.
All right.
this is a question.
Sorry, Adam, you got cut off.
Should we put in the individual item prior to? Can you hear me?
But it was, it sounded like Mickey Mouse. Can you say it again? It went really fast.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. The question to the group and or to Warren was, should we vote on each individual budget line item prior to us passing the budget? I guess it's a question as much as a recommendation, so that this process really follows closely the same process for approving the town warrant articles. It seems like we should approve things as a committee before we pass the recommendation for them to be included, right?
Yeah, but we're not talking about the budget in it right now.
Yeah,
Just
but the items that get included, you said in the table.
Action items.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I think Claudia, I will look at my notes and Claudia's notes. If we take the time to vote on each one of these,
I don't think.
we never have before.
Yeah, we haven't done it that way.
So, but if somebody can put up a copy of the table,
This is started.
Yeah.
I mean, these are not usually I mean, if it's really significant, maybe we could do it, but most of these are,
Yeah, if we voted on each line item, we'd
Most of
be
these
here
are
until,
no action. Historical.
we could vote on the whole thing when you're done.
there we go.
Chris, make that full screen. Up a little higher, right? See,
I don't know that.
I think you can do this.
No.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
All right, I'm gonna start.
Just click on the X.
I'll start reading these. Okay, we're under the Benfield Conservation Land, first property. Number 1, make decisions on needed brush clearing, mowing, and what?
Wait, they're trying to figure out getting it bigger.
It's hidden behind my panel.
Can you click on this and make this part bigger?
So, yeah, you guys not seeing my screen. I get rid of this.
That's not my screen.
Oh, that's his screen?
Yes. This is my
Next to
stuff.
good evening, or right down. There's a little X up there.
Next to one.
It's hidden behind, can you?
It's hidden, so that's.
Oh, you can do all tabs.
Hit escape,
Yeah.
hit
It's
escape.
a PC, you can do all
There
tabs.
we go. There we go. I
You
got it.
found it.
Okay, table Z. Sorry about that. This is the best I can do for size, I think.
You can actually zoom
Okay, yes, I can do that.
if you can get rid of your McAfee.
Oh, God. Best to see all my sins. Leave me alone. Oops.
Oh, that's good.
That was nice.
Somewhere in between.
Yes, yeah.
That's
One
fine.
more.
One more?
One more.
Come on, Warren. Killing me.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful.
Okay.
Okay. This one here is, under the Benfield Conservation Lands, number 1, make decisions on needed brush clearing, mowing, and or invasive removal along the north edge of a field. This goes back to a review of that area that Sylvia did perhaps 2 or more years ago. And no action was taken. And then we thought that backyard invasives, Maddie might look at it first. And I don't know that she has, and I don't know if it's on her radar to do anything in that section, but it still could use some work. But I'm not up to date on just how bad it is or whether Maddie is planning any work. Do we know, Judy?
I don't know, she's been focusing on phosphor toll first.
I guess my initial recommendation would be to ask Maddie to look at the area. Sylvia had gone, I think, to the DPW or somebody else and gotten a estimate of something like 3,000.
Yeah, what we did, well, first of all, we hired a brush cutter to go along and do the ditch clearing. It was just massive amounts of, non-native invasive plants, as well as an area that was getting down into the field and creeping closer and closer to the wetland down there. And we got that cleared away, and also over on the little field near where the water supply well is. And that probably costs something like, I can remember correctly, $4,000, $5,000. And then we had to come to a stop because the failed septic system, and we couldn't have all of that going on at the same time. But meanwhile, there was somebody also in DPW that felt like afterwards that he knew the kind of equipment that would be useful to actually go through all that again and pull out the roots. Some piece of equipment that could do that. He is no longer employed there. He's gone somewhere else. I don't know where. And time has gone by and all kinds of changes. And Gary is no longer there. Then there was Jim called in, moved in, and then everything is changing. I was out there last week, maybe even over the weekend, and it's really just a big jumble up there, which is really too bad because it's such a beautiful spot. And the area down where all those pine trees are, which were only this high when we bought the property, is just a massive Oriental bittersweet, all the low stuff. And I didn't even go to the little field.
Okay.
So it's a mess out there. And the hay is up over my, grasses are up over my head.
Okay, let me make a suggestion. I'm not qualified. I don't know my plants, and I have walked that area and I've looked at the area and I've done some vine cutting of my own. It is, I agree with Sylvia. I think a mess is not a bad word. It's a good word. But I think we need, I find it would be hard for us to make a decision today on action other than to ask somebody who knows more than I, maybe Sylvia again, maybe Judy, maybe Maddie, to make out there and look and make a recommendation about whether we do nothing. We ask the mower to get his mower in closer to the north edge of the field.
Too rocky,
What?
too rocky.
Yeah, well,
That's why it was like that. It was too
and,
rocky.
or whether we have somebody go in there by hand. I don't think we know enough tonight, other than to ask for a more detailed assessment. And by the way, any realistic assessment has to be done when the vegetation is down, meaning it's either been mowed or it's winter time, because in the summertime, the vegetation is up to here and you can't see anything. So,
Well, let me comment on one thing. Last year, we thought it would be really possible that it could be a good grazing field, okay? Because there's so much grass in there. And so I tried to work with the Board of Health, and there were concerns about the setbacks from the wells and this and that. And I still think we could look at that, because it's, as long as, the animals were confined, it could be a great use of that grassy area. So,
if they put in a fence that the wellhead protection area does not extend up that far. So I think animals would be legal as long as they were out of the zone of the wellhead protection area.
right, and now that we have Megan, who could spend the time, because that was what the problem was last year. Sylvia was out of commission and nobody really knew what to do, and so, Board of Health was like, we don't know, we can't determine anything, which I found surprising. But, so I think if we, explored that again and then came back to the committee, it could be a win-win for a lot of us.
So how do we write something I can put here as to what the action plan should be?
Well, I think one of the first steps is to ask Chris to take the question to the Ag Commission and see if they have any interest in their area. I don't know if it's too difficult to get their animals in. You know, whether that would be an option. There's no reason for us to explore it if the Ag Commission has no interest in putting animals there, so.
So Warren, Chris is putting that stuff down.
What?
I've been typing as we go.
Okay, you're typing it.
Taking
No,
notes.
he's typing, Chris is
You
typing.
guys,
So
you
if you want
compare notes
that.
later.
Yeah.
I'll cede my document to a taker.
Okay, but in addition to that, I think we need somebody else,
Maddie, we'll send Maddie.
Maddie, and ask Maddie to look at what she thinks should be done. But I do think the mower can get closer
Right.
than mowers have in the past to that north edge.
You know, should the visit be with like Stewart, who's assigned to the property?
Well, the steward's not gonna be here probably.
Oh, you the steward? Okay. You're the only steward for
I
Benfield?
think so.
Just to move things forward a little more quickly, is can we have Maddie and somebody else? And just to give two opinions.
A steward or substitute steward?
What I was really
Or
thinking was
commissioner.
another professional.
Oh, I see.
Well, yeah, but later on, we're gonna talk about having a professional be
Yeah,
at
those-
our use for any of the properties, because they would have, you know, and so that could be something that we do sooner than later.
Before we go in, Sylvia had something else?
I was just gonna point out that one of the concerns that the Board of Health might have with the animals out there is they do have little test wells around the septic field. And if the test wells go out there and get tested and come up with,
Urea.
whatever. I mean, granted, there are dogs that go out there and, deer, et cetera, like that but it will be a little stronger if you've got some crazy animals out there.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember Linda Fantasia making a negative statement about animals out there.
Right, but it could be
Further
animals away from the important
Well,
areas.
the north edge of the septic field is pretty darn close to the area that we're talking about, so there's not much.
Not much, really isn't.
All right, well, I think that we have two recommendations, which are good. And Chris, if you've written them in, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So one was to bring to the ag committee for interest. And
And
the other
the
is,
Board of Health should be checked with too. Need to check with the Board of Health.
Well, it makes sense to do this a little bit sequentially. If the AgCom is not interested, then there's no real point going to the Board of Health. I would,
vice versa.
Right,
And vice versa.
Vice versa. Board of Health, no way.
Yes, right.
well,
Since going
you
to
know,
AgCom.
the thing
Yes,
is, those test wells, how long are we gonna, are there gonna be test wells for the septic? Is that gonna be forever?
Probably forever. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Done.
gotta have it. So I think the Board of Health actually comes first.
right. But there's another small part of this, and that is that when you bush hog or just cut invasive plants, they're discovering that this makes them grow 10 times more. Okay, lots and lots and lots from the roots, or they just are invigorated or something. So it's not so simple about just going in and cutting them down. I think that that's why we need an expert who's a good land manager, you know.
Yeah, the fellow from the DPW knew of a piece of equipment that could go through and start dragging out the roots. Which would help. It was never going to be 100%.
Maybe you can find out what that machine was.
I could if I had access to my old email, but I don't.
I bet you could
Okay,
beg.
No,
let's move on. I think,
Quick question, how come it worked for decades and decades or centuries that mowing worked out fine? And how
No
come
invasives.
it, huh?
Didn't used to be invasives.
Yeah.
Oh,
They all came in from the roadways and then they crept into the field.
what's the bird poop too, right?
Well, it's vehicles or,
I think we need to move on.
really, because if we spend that much time on each line, we'll.
Yeah, I think that was a good one to spend more time on though, Brian.
Okay.
Okay, number two, this has been a thing my see if the town or Trails Committee can make further improvements to the entry path on the service road. Now, let me just speak to that. Two or three comments. Right now, there is a thin but somewhat improved narrow center path that the Trails Committee made by raking some of the large rocks, which was put down for the heavy equipment to enter, to leave a small, narrow path in the center, but it's still not smooth. And here it is right next to a senior community, which makes it hard for them to walk on. And the second impediment is that it's not our land. It's the Recom's land. But the Trails Committee did do the initial work of scraping some of the large rocks out of the way. And it's up to, we can wash our hands and say, it's not our land, and the Trails Committee has made some improvements, or we can ask for more.
Does Steve Tobin want to comment?
So I want to hear any comments.
Still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here he
Yeah,
comes.
so the Trails Committee's looked at this, and to do anything out there, you're gonna have to have somebody with earth moving equipment. And we thought that would make an excellent handicapped accessible trail if you could get it down to, you know, a fine surface, but it's much more than we could handle. You know, you may need to send it out for bids or talk to DPW, see if they could do anything. But, you know, another guy and I spent 3 days out there with rakes, moving the rocks that we did, and it's not a thing for amateurs to be doing.
So I think given that recommendation, the issue is seek requests from professionals or no. And that means either going to the DPW or seeking in a maybe this year or next year funding for commercials, and we'd have to go through the process of getting permission from everybody. And quite honestly, I think this could lie with just one person, whether they are interested or not, who's willing to take the ball and run with it. And if there's nobody here that's interested in being a champion of this, then it'll wait until somebody else is willing to be a champion. It can wait. It's not an emergency or a crucial. So if I don't hear a champion,
We also don't have all our members here tonight, I suppose.
Yeah. It would be a little hard to put together a budget line item request for the FY 2027
Yeah.
year, because you want to get an estimate, and that's timely. So
Warren, I have one suggestion for you if it was something that somebody here wanted to pursue. This would qualify for CPA funds
okay.
on recreational land that is going to be used for,
Yeah.
passive recreation.
Well, I really think more seniors from that center and more other seniors in other parts of town would go down there. Right now, it's not a easy walk-in across that.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
Sylvia's.
I will say there used to be a lot more of the crushed rock there, but a lot of it got removed. I can't remember now if it was removed by the contractor and given over to DPW.
Steve said he just did it. Trails Committee did it.
Oh, no. When the crushed rock was originally put down to do the septic system, the new one, I mean, they repaired one. There was a lot more of that crushed rock put down than is there now.
It was supposed to be a temporary access road.
Right. It was meant to be thick enough and dense enough to handle the heavy equipment that was needed for, the sand trucks and all of that. And so the thought was, since we could now get in there with dry shoes, to take a lot of the gravel away, but not all of it. Well, apparently they could have taken more than they did. So a lot of that gravel that was there, I think, got over to the DPW place. Maybe they were the ones that took it out. I just don't remember, and might be able to take some more out. But I will say it is hard to get through there. I went through there just last week. And not only is it hard there, when you turn to go up the trail, so you don't have to walk on it, the little crossings that are only like 2 boards wide. So if you're walking with a couple of these, it's hard.
Okay, so I like that, and this would take a little work to put together, and by the way, I think they could use an approach that had not a wholesale removal of the riprap from the whole width of the road, but just take the central pathway that the Trails Committee made by breaking into a manufactured or constructed path with a nice surface. In other words, something just 2 feet wide rather than 10 feet wide.
It is conceivable that it is used for equipment used in the testing. You'd have to ask the Board of Health for dealing with the wells, the testing wells there, and also for possibly the water supply well as well.
Yeah. So all of this is good. I'd like to have this answer say that the LSC should, when they in the future investigate the use of CPA funding for trail improvement.
Yeah.
I really think it would be a nice improvement for anybody, especially seniors.
I think we had hoped that everything would become embedded and easier to walk on
Yes,
than
absolutely.
it has. But just to put icing on the cake, right at the corner, just opposite the big rock that's there, is a certified vernal pool.
Yeah.
It's also.
But if memory serves correct,
Excuse me, Alex, I didn't
if
hear.
memory serves correct, DEP said that was a non-functioning wetland crossing and you didn't need approval. That's my memory.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
Anyway, so
all that rock was
there may
dumped
be
without permission.
legal issues that, yeah. Okay, so I'd like I don't know if you've written it, Chris.
I got it.
The CPA, somebody in the future,
CFDB,
LSC to
DPW.
investigate
Yep.
using CPA funding for trail improvements. Thank you, everybody, for your thoughts. Number 3, under Benfield, evaluate the current usage of the 3 bat houses on the west field. This is something that sticks in my craw a little bit. When the Boy Scouts erected them, I asked if they were going to check them and maintain them. I wanted to know if they were being used and would they maintain them? And they said, well, if you come to us in the future, we'll see. Maybe we'll do something. So in other words, they washed their hands of these bat houses after they put them up.
Service project.
Yes, yes. And right now, they don't need maintenance, but it'd be nice to know if there was a way if they're being used or not, just in part because if they're not, I don't like them there. And second, we would have second thoughts about anybody else who came along and said, I want to put in more. It's,
Chris has a spare camera.
what?
Chris has a spare camera.
Yeah.
Lots of cameras. None of
Actually,
them do what
We
I
actually
want them
did
to do.
have, a scout troop from another town want to put up a bat house at Reno.
Okay, well, let me ask this, because it's those who have been through this. Do you need a permit to set up a camera on conservation land that's looking at a bat house?
I'd say it's a land use permit.
We made that with the woman who was gonna, video
Mushroom.
other, wildlife.
Okay. Well, again, not knowing my future availability, I have a camera that has infrared for night vision and motion detection or continuous. And I'd be glad to loan it to a project if somebody wanted to.
I think there's easier ways to see if bats have inhabited a bat house.
At nighttime, when you look, you have
There's
to
no
look.
tile.
There's
no tile underneath
The
it.
entrance is so thin, you cannot see.
No.
No, you,
Under they drop droppings.
Oh,
At the
well, but
bottom.
anyway, I've looked and I've seen,
I've looked.
It's a good sign that it's not.
Most bat houses,
I put one
it
under my
takes 10
house.
years to be inhabited.
Yeah, right, that's the problem.
okay,
It's because, just because they're not, does that mean that?
all right, so unless I hear otherwise, I'll say no action at
Yeah.
present.
Yes.
And by the way, Warren, you said you wanted to do 2 pages, but as Chris adds lines, it's actually making.
More pages?
Yeah, but we'll count on the blank.
There's the Warren, then there's the Bluebird houses,
You're already out of time.
What?
the Bluebird houses, on Benfield. Bluebird houses on Benfield.
Yeah,
We've had our stewards clean up and fix the bluebird houses. This
Oh,
year,
good.
this past year.
Because they need it, because I
Yeah.
was there last week.
all right, let's move on. Bisbee land. Monitor entryway to Northfield to see if erosion remediation is holding. I have done that several times since they put that in, so I think I can say for the last year, it's been done. And it's holding. So was a similar one, at the same time, they did the entrance to Fisk Meadow, right opposite the dump. And that one's holding as well.
Is there a tree across it now?
What?
I think there's a tree across it now.
Well, what I'm saying is that there may be a tree, but that after they put in the new crushed stone, the entryway doesn't have any giant potholes in it.
We just say continue to monitor.
Yes, yes. Okay. Number 2, I mentioned this to Sylvia a year ago, and she didn't think it was necessary, but I'll ask it again. Ask farmer to extend the edge of mowing at the north end of the field. And that end, there's about a 50-foot distance between Mark stops mowing and the property line at the north end. The north end is the one closest to the center of town.
Is that a trail?
What?
Is
That's,
that
no,
a
the trail
trail
is
right
not, no, the trail cuts it straight across the field or at a slight diagonal, but not in the area I'm talking about, but close to it. So
What are you talking about? What property?
Bisbee,
Bisbee, oh.
as you, if you enter where you park and start going diagonally across towards the trailhead on the opposite side of the field, to your right, to the north, there's about 50 feet that has now got some low bushes and low trees that could go back to field. He just is too lazy, I think, to do it. He just keeps, it's the type of thing, Silver, where the old day, you might have hired somebody to go in there and clear it out, but it seems to me the next time a license for Bisbee is written, that it could be written into the license for the farmer to do edge extension in the north end. I'd like to see that to be the simplest solution, to put it in the farmer's license.
It can always be added.
What?
It can always be added.
Yes, so anybody else have a comment, but that's my recommendation.
But
Are the
not into
branches-
next License,
What?
not into the next license, that's 4 years away.
No.
Yeah.
Let's add it into the existing
Yes,
license.
exactly.
Yeah.
Added to the system.
Can I just say, I think that although that he probably could do that, I think farmers are pretty hardworking. I wouldn't ever want to call them lazy.
I'm not hearing, Sylvia.
I'm sorry. I think farmers are very hardworking people, and I would hesitate about calling Mark lazy or any farmer lazy.
Yeah, I think we should check to see if this is doable, because there may be rocks or something, there may be a reason.
Well, I don't remember rocks, I remember just small woody trees.
I was at the branches. I don't know what it looks like either, but if there's branches that are too low, his tractor may not be able to get under there without hitting the branches.
Well,
Right.
somebody
So
else, can look, before they write before the next, year.
So we should evaluate it and then decide.
I think, before we say we're gonna change somebody's license agreement, I think we should evaluate
Check if it's
what needs,
possible.
what
Yeah.
I think needs to be done.
So I just want to say a couple things on time. We're getting late on time and also we need to figure out we're a committee and Sylvia, your input's very helpful, but you have input on everything we're doing, which is helpful, but you're not part of the
I know.
committee.
I'm trying to keep my mouth shut. That's all I'm
Okay.
asking.
But we keep asking you things, so you can't. right?
Yeah.
Something like, commenting on Mark.
Okay, I'll try and push things along here too. So we have a recommendation here to evaluate it, then potentially
You were correct.
add it to a license.
Yeah, what I wrote is check to see if this is possible, and if so, add it to the existing.
Yeah.
license.
Yeah. And consider adding Bisbee.
Yeah,
I mean, again, I think the way it's written is ask the farmer to, and so I think with
Yes.
anything, we should talk to the farmer and see
yes,
what
absolutely.
could be done.
And
Before we jump to changing the license.
somebody here will have to decide who that's gonna be since
And ask them at the ice cream social.
the student will likely not be around.
Ice cream social.
Last one for Bisbee. Consider adding the Bisbee Field of Properties backyard invasives, work on for invasives removal. I have to say, I don't remember all of the invasive plants because I'm not an expert, but I think she should be asked, or Maddie or Judy should be asked to evaluate the property. I do know there are a number of things, and I don't think Maddie has looked at it. Don't know if Judy has, but maybe the recommendation should be for the right person to evaluate the need, because I'm not qualified to make the decision.
Okay, so, just.
Is that, I'm trying to understand, this is a field that's hay, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about the edges too.
Oh,
Both
sorry, about
along,
edges.
there's about 10 to 15 feet of wooded area between the eastern edge of the field and
Can I
Concord
write,
Road.
do you mind if I write edges into
Yeah,
the,
you can put just the.
in the number 3?
And so
In the
the
description.
field edges, including, 5 to 10 feet into the woods, for which there's a wooded section, as I said, between the field and Concord Street,
Right.
do have things. And I know because around the signage that shows on Concord Street, I removed the invasive myself from around the signage. And in the field itself, there's some other strange plants, which I think shouldn't be there, but along the edges, especially the garlic mustard, when it's there, it's everywhere, everywhere. And I don't know, that's whether you ignore garlic, it's too much of a hand pull thing. I mean, is that the only way you do that is hand
Yeah.
pulling?
And it just comes back.
And you make pesto out of it.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's here to stay.
So what,
We can ask Maddie just to tell us what species are there for a start. I mean, she does that for free. She assesses and she tells us what she thinks. It's a good start.
Yes.
To do an initial
And
assessment.
it could be that because of the bushes, Mark is not going in there. But if he knew what it was and that we could just pull out the bushes with someone like Maddie, he might be thrilled to just start mowing it, haying in there.
Yeah.
Can we move on?
Yep.
Blanchette land, which I know everybody's very familiar with.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this one of the
I
ones.
can't tell you how I got there.
Yeah, because nobody can say how they got there because it's landlocked.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Our old friend Rhonda could drop us in with a helicopter.
But
Yeah,
when
right.
we had, yeah, Rhonda could have dropped us in by helicopter.
No, I went there with her and I think it was Alan who took us in.
So I don't know. I don't think this is an important action. I quite honestly, for a landlocked property, it ought to be inspected occasionally.
Well, it should be inspected by crack anyway,
It
Yes.
it
every
is,
5 years,
yeah,
so.
right.
yeah.
That's why I happened to go there.
So
So we leave
maybe
it up-
that,
so we just
maybe
leave it
what
up
we
to-
say, is rely on crack inspections.
Sure, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or crack
Right.
inspection reports.
You
Yes,
know, one of us should go when crack goes,
yes, yes.
at least one of us, and I did. And Shane did.
I think that might have to be it, or, I'm
Yes.
sorry, because we're almost, we're getting close to closing time. We
Well,
have a lot more to do.
all right. I'll leave that up to people, because I do want to have some time to spend on the budget next. If you want to call this,
That we probably should if you,
yeah,
But we may have to have a
Can-
special meeting on this
Yeah,
because
we
we've
may.
only made it
yeah.
halfway through one page.
Page one.
can we reduce the talking time in the future? To,
Well, I think some of this, I've found the discussion to be helpful for me, and I think the conclusions we've come to have been good because of the discussion,
okay,
including Sylvia's.
Yeah.
I guess I'd recommend, I didn't know quite what we're doing with this today. But, and I haven't got you my stewardship, assignments.
Well,
And
let me tell you
I
what I
think-
think about that. You are doing so much for the bog. I think if your total time involvement there, and that's why I haven't been pounding on your door. But I can change that easily.
That's what I'm afraid of. But I think maybe as an action for the committee is to look at your properties and review these, and perhaps when we go through it next, we'll be more familiar with it.
Yes.
So I
And
think
there's,
that would make it go a little quicker. We don't know what's going on.
there's one other thought. I've had numerous people mention to me, they have no interest in being on the committee, but they thought it'd be kind of cool to be friends of Land Stewardship Committee and they could work on projects. So that might end up being
Great.
a useful thing. So next meeting, we can talk about that.
There used to be some.
Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be this sort of subgroup. Everything.
All right.
Okay. So, I will save my changes and send them to you, okay?
I think
Into Warren?
Which
Yeah.
one,
To one.
You're gonna go to
which
budget
one are we
then?
doing next?
This.
budget.
Okay, budget.
Okay, I hope we can make this quicker.
Stop sharing.
Well, you can share the budget.
You want me to pull the budget up?
Well,
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask first, if anybody here knows when committee and board budgets are due. Does anybody, we have not gotten any notice, any information.
I must be the second one.
I think it's no one, yeah.
Budgets.
You will get something from the finance committee, probably at the end of November,
No,
which is their general, it's the letter they usually send out, and asking,
there it is.
giving a sort of a
You
guideline.
can see it in color.
And I can tell you that the guideline is gonna be level funded, no increases.
Okay, I'm looking
But-
at timing. When does it?
Well, I think, I know that the staff, the departments are asked in
Your
November
mouse went down and it showed.
present their information, but in terms of committees,
See, it's striping.
I'm guessing
Okay.
not till the beginning of
The one on the
January,
right.
but I could be wrong.
No, I
I'll
think
check.
it's
That's
on
good.
the- No,
Last year,
I
it
think
was
it's-
December they wanted it, right?
no,
I
yeah.
found the budget calendar
Yeah.
from last year,
Yeah.
and they wanted it in December.
Yeah,
So anyway, based on what Barney says, I'm going to assume that we will need to submit our budget request for fiscal 2027 sometime in December, maybe January, and that we will have tonight and one more meeting only to put together numbers. So keep that in mind. Adam and I worked to put together this 2-page draft FY 2027 budget request. Getting help from Alex and Chris and Judy and our own inputs. As last year, it's segregated, first of all, by property, and with each one having one or more line items under it. And I'll ask for comments in a minute, but the most obvious issue that needs to be settled for this budget request is mowing related things. And I've highlighted the mowing lines in that pink color. We don't have a mower, so we can't ask for a quote at this time because as I said, we don't have a mower. So what I'm gonna have to ask is that, let's say within the next 3 weeks, so I'll have it ready for the November meeting, is that we have estimates and they'll have to be based upon our experience with past mowers. And so I'm gonna ask Judy or anybody else who has input in mowing costs to give me estimates, because we cannot turn in a budget request that has this many blank costs.
But I already gave you the mowing one.
What?
I already gave you the mowing estimate.
Didn't see any numbers.
I filled in this sheet and sent it to you
Oh, you did? Just today?
a bunch of days ago.
Didn't see it.
It's the same price as last year.
Oh. Same price.
That would fit Barney's comment, no changes.
All right. What's those
What was
is?
last salary?
And for everybody to know that Sam Bell was our mower from the last bunch of years. And his wife was diagnosed with cancer and she's dying. And so he did Sudbury Valley Trustees, Audubon Properties, and most of the towns in this area. And so everybody is struggling to find, something to do it. So I reached out to Sudbury Valley Trustees and asked their advice. They sent me some people's names. So we're going from there, but
Is that the kind of thing that we have to procure?
yes, we have an agreement from Ryan, who created
Okay,
the whole thing.
good.
And so, it's 5,000 or less. So there's always that question on whether, you need a bid or not be bid, Some people say, as long as it's under 10,000, you don't need to bid, but I'm not quite sure. So whatever Ryan says, we do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
He's our procurement officer.
What deals are you asking for more?
Parts of toll, a little bit of phosphor. Benfield.
It's all up on the.
Oh, I can't see that.
No. Yeah. And I left out Cranberry Bog because I wasn't
So it's
sure.
got it back, it's back in there. But we still need estimates for the trail edges and the slopes of the main circumferential, there's a main ditch around the whole bog. So those are in there too. Just nothing, no mowing of things or cutting things within the cranberry bogs themselves is covered by stuff that Alex gave us. But the mowing up along the trails
Right,
and the steep edges around it.
but that was part of the $5,000. And he only used, there was something you sent out that showed what we had spent last year.
Yeah.
Okay, same price.
But we don't have what Conscom spent. So, see, there was
That was a
duplication
separate-
of budgets last year,
Oh,
and some of the things were paid by them. So we need to know ourselves what's going on. And
It's
while we're
different
talking
equipment for
about,
bog.
while we're talking about which fields, what is the consensus on what should be done with the grassy area around the former Greeno barn and Farmer's Cottage? Are we letting that go as it will by Mother Nature? Or are we gonna keep it grassy, mowed?
So grassy or not weed, right? Is that the choice?
Well, it's a serious question. I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. But we should make a decision now so we can get in the budget request or not. It's a small area. Maybe if you total it up, it's only an acre. And the DPW, just remind people, does mow the edges of the dam. But I think the mower they use is not the same they use to mow the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a different, that's the.
Yeah, so Greeno, keep
Driveway.
it as grassy open for maybe future recreational or event use, or let it go.
Because the access is so,
What?
the access to that piece of land for people who live in Carlisle is very difficult. I
Yes.
would say just let it go back.
Other comments?
But isn't that the place where they're gonna
Gonna
put
have
the
a nice-
kiosk?
Kiosk.
Yeah.
Isn't that the
Yeah, but
discussion?
they can see it when they come up the trail.
You have to hike to get to it, no matter.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, rather than let it go back
I
to
think the
nature,
kiosk
if the,
future is in question, is it not?
No,
No.
I don't think it really, I don't, it's fantasy to try to move it. There's no money to move
I
it.
think the Historical Society presented, didn't they present this?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But there's
I
no
think
approval.
the Historical Society's decision to cite it there shouldn't force our hand to maintain an acre of field essentially in the middle of, I mean, what conservation purpose does it serve to mow that? To mow that acre?
Or maybe you're just mowing a path.
I don't know, I'm always for keeping any open space open.
Right.
Because we have so
What you mean
little
is
of it.
Open means, to
but
me,
nobody
means
can
no
see it.
woods, but
No,
not mowed.
but
Well, why not have another,
The animals.
have it in the budget, whether you get around to doing it or not? It's gonna be a.
But Shane knows the area very well. He's seen problems in what is that thing that's leaking?
The transformer.
The septic tank,
Transformer,
the transformer,
and
yeah.
there was something else you were telling me
The
about.
well, yeah, that's been resolved.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so do you have an opinion on the, whether the area should be let go or need, or, right?
Yeah, it should be kept as open space, but maybe have another company come in there with their, more wild plants put in there, and be good to have that foundation so the cops just take it out of there. There's a pile of rubble in there. I guess Jim took out the remnants of the well, so nobody else has that problem of somebody will fall down and things, so, because there was an opening inside of it, that's what, maybe jumped through money. So.
So can we put it in the budget, but leave it decision till later as to whether we actually
yes,
do
Yeah,
it?
I think that's a good idea. Lauren.
So let's leave it in the budget, Judy. So put down 1 acre, if you will, for whatever we can.
so
Don't even
If-
see.
It's not.
if the
there.
DPW does the
Oh, Woodward's.
Greeno Dam, can they do the bog stuff? The edges,
Well,
the slope
that somebody
there?
needs to ask them. I don't think they have what tilt down that easily.
I don't know what
But
they
they
use
do
for
the,
Greeno.
they do the Greeno dam, so maybe they do.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Well,
Because
somebody needs to ask them.
You see three on the bottom, it says cranberry
Okay,
bog
Greeno,
and
yeah.
Greeno.
Oh, sorry.
It's in there, yeah.
Sylvia?
The DPW does Greeno Dam at the same time it does the roadside edges, because they use that piece of equipment.
Reticulating mower, yeah.
They use that piece of equipment.
Did they buy that? I thought they tried it and they were giving it back.
This past year, they hadn't bought it yet.
I think it's in the budget. for
It's
this
probably, yeah, I
next
know it
year.
was a warrant article and it was approved, but last I knew, they hadn't bought it yet, and that was as of early summer sometime.
This is, add this to our budget, assuming DPW can't do it.
And in the past, they are the ones that have mowed the field where the cottage used to be. We didn't ever pay for them. The thing out there that concerns me is the site where the old greenhouse was, and which has some broken glass, and the chain link fence that's out there. because that's a barrier to wildlife. And it would be nice to have that gone, but that's not what you're talking about.
The second column is what estimated cost. What's another?
Okay, well, that's good. Let me now say that very soon after tonight's meeting, I will update this table with the estimated mowing things so that the bottom of the table will show a total. And I will compare that for you with the total that we have for the current fiscal year. Since we've just been told this, they're gonna look at increases over past years. So you'll have that information as soon as I can change, this table, maybe certainly within a week, less maybe. But while we have maybe a little more time, what I need people to tell me, if not now, let me say within the next week, are there missing line items? Are we missing significant things that we need to have in the budget for FY 2027? And second, do you see any errors in what I wrote on this one? So just quickly now, are there things that people say we missed? Or are there significant errors that I can fix in the near term?
So on the Fisk Street bog mowing, could Duffy also do the sand covered bog? Mowing that too?
That would be absolutely easy. Yeah, why don't we add that well, Duffy could do it or the standard mower too, whoever we hire for the other things.
It's still a bog underneath.
Right?
It's still a bog underneath that sand, so.
I think that there is a line item. for it,
Right,
though.
they're up a little bit in the number 2 under the cranberry bog.
Up the street, bog mowing.
And just and Fisk Street and,
Yeah.
or do you want to do a different new line item?
That's in the bog itself.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Wait, and you're talking about the sandy bog? as well?
The sand covered
That
bog.
typically has been called in the not too old days, the curb street bog.
Yeah.
So we should enter that.
So I think 4 and 6 are duplicates.
So you want to call it curb street?
So do, just call and Curve Street bog. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Vegetation.
And now we don't know about the $7,000, so you probably wanna question mark that.
Do it, add
Those
500,
are the
to it,
duplicates.
add another 1,000 to it.
Clearing that dam number 1, I think these are 4 and 6 are duplicated.
I'll combine 4 and 6. All right. Any other comments now on missing or duplicative items or significant errors?
I will make sure that you get sent again, the thing I said for, Cole, Boss and, Penfield. Okay, because that's what Sam Bell was mowing.
Yeah.
And, it's the same price. So basically, a person who's gonna be bidding is gonna be confined to the same thing, but Sam used maybe 50% of the budget, okay, each year.
I think we were getting a good deal with him, so I
I
would
know.
like not to lower the
So-
numbers.
We won't go with the number at all, but I just want you to have that knowledge, so.
Okay. I'll put those older numbers in, but if there's still some missing numbers, Judy, I'm gonna ask you to help me
Yeah,
fill them.
that's fine.
I'm hearing no further comments, Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Good, because it's 9 o'clock.
Well, you know we don't finish till 11.
Okay, thank you. And do we want to discuss having a special meeting to finish this? It's
Well,
just
but
for
it's
this?
my request, put it this way, if I don't get this finished by the December meeting, it's gonna be somebody else's job to put it all together, the final report.
So then why don't we agree tonight to have a special meeting in November? just to do this.
It probably could use up, yeah, because I found it valuable for the heck of discussions tonight. That's what, the value of our stewards program is in large part, they're recommending things that need to be done and recorded.
So I think we need Sylvia there too. For the history.
I like that, that it takes the pressure off the regular meeting then.
All right, so when we pick our next meetings, we'll make a special one for that. And also it was requested that we try to plan our meetings out through the end of the year because people would like to know.
Yes.
And we don't do that very well.
Just don't have them interfere with crack meetings.
Or ideally on the same night as the select board meeting.
Or the CPC.
That's okay.
Or by trivia night.
I was,
Yeah.
I was.
What about bingo?
Anybody have favorite TV show?
Yeah.
I'll get recorded.
They would not get the live. On the night before Christmas.
All right, can we move on?
Yep.
What should we,
So now are we
back
on
to
Woodward?
right, and how much time are we gonna give this now?
Well, this might be just the last thing and then we just have to do the rest. Because what's we've done,
Okay.
I don't know that Greeno update is gonna be. We already sort of discussed, Jane commented on some of that.
The mineral discovery is actually taken care of.
Right. So it would just be the mowing contract would be the only thing left, right?
The old house foundation and degree.
Well, Shane mentioned that he would like to try to do something with that.
And then Sylvia added the chain link fence.
Yes, so basically a cleanup at Greeno.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
broken
and there's
glass.
some outbuildings too that were in old buildings that are in the opposite direction beyond where the barn was
Yes,
as well.
towards the river,
Huh?
towards the river.
No, the opposite
The
direction.
other.
So- Is that something that maybe should be on the budget? Is general somehow some finances for cleaning up Greeno?
Well, there's been some suggestions that they might be scout projects,
No.
but just throw it out there. I wasn't suggesting coming to a conclusion tonight, just get it on the list.
Okay,
All right, so on to.
so can we go on to Woodward? Is there anything else that we
Yeah.
have to talk about right here?
All
right. So just to summarize, we, so far on Woodward, we made what we thought, or we proposed a subcommittee. A few things back from Ryan. One is that we can't make a subcommittee. Conscom would have to appoint a subcommittee. We don't have the authority. And second of all, his recommendation is you don't do it in a subcommittee. You know, actually Barney had thought that was a good idea.
And I talked with Ryan about that.
I just have it in writing from him. He's like, I do not recommend.
Does he say why?
I don't remember, but I can find the email and send it to you. But I can say that although I'm sure everybody doesn't want to be part of it, I know, I hear you. I think it's something that we really will need to do as a full committee because we're gonna, so say we meet, you know, once a month, it's gonna take months and months before we get anywhere with this. And then we're just gonna bring that, I mean, we're not even appointed yet by Conscom. Then we're gonna have to bring it back to the LSC with our recommendations if we make them. And before we can even get that far, there was different interpretations of what we had voted on and what the charter was of the subcommittee. So I wanted to at least start with what that is, because that may affect what we're doing. So some people suggested we do more of a look back historically and decide how this happened and what we want to do with it. And Claudia is going to tell us what the vote was.
Okay, let me find that, right. So the charter was Provenzano moves to form a subcommittee of the LSC to review and recommend edits to the Woodward Ag License and supporting document with input from stakeholders. Spinney seconded the motion, passed by roll call vote. So it would just to review the ag license and the support document.
Okay, and that passed unanimously, correct?
Yes,
Because the mosquito said it passed narrowly. I don't know how that got there, but it was on page one, like, it narrowly passed, and it's like, that's not what I remember, but I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
ask for a printed redaction over, but somehow that information didn't get.
Did you share that with Betsy?
No, I told, somebody else. and they
Wanda
said-
maybe, yeah, the office manager.
Yeah. And Wanda said, you'd have to take it to Betsy, and I
Yeah.
thought, does it really, by then I think it was Wednesday, so it would be 2 weeks out that we'd say something, but anyway, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't put it was narrowly,
Oh, no, I didn't write that.
no, from tonight. So, so we'd have to decide if we want to stay with what we gave the charter, or maybe Alex or Chris or Adam have an opposing point of view, and we should revote it or not revote it. So that's one part, is what the charter is. Second of all, we have to be voted by the conscom if we want to do a subcommittee. And I think we need to decide if that's the best way to even do this. I frankly don't think it is. I think it's just gonna be long. It was nice in a way because it was more intimate with only 5 or 6 people. I think in a way you could move through it quicker than you can with 10. But I don't know. Anybody want to give
But,
what,
okay,
what's your testimony here?
Yeah, comment, may I comment?
Yeah, but I was gonna let
Oh,
the people who had a different opinion who were in the subcommittee say something first.
Okay.
Don't you think it's a good idea?
Well, sure. So, my view sort of focuses on a bunch of different elements. One is there's clearly some lack of public confidence in the LSC's decision-making about Woodward. And I think that it is not a good idea to set limits in advance on what either the subcommittee or the LSC can consider in its review. Like I said at our subcommittee meeting, the nightmare for me is one of the stakeholders says, well, you really should cancel this license because of A, B, C, or D. And I really think it would be a terrible situation for whether it's the whole committee or the subcommittee to be stuck with saying, well, we really can't consider that because it's outside of our charter. I mean, I just think that doesn't address the total concerns of stakeholders.
So you're basically arguing, not arguing, but stating that in favor of opening up. We have a narrow vote, so we'd have to revote that.
Yes, sure. Well, I don't, and I did ask the question initially is, the document that we've been asked to review and edit, to the extent that there's any meat to this, contract at all, that's it. I mean, the rest is, form language, a lot of it may or may not be applicable, but the meat is that document. So when we're being asked to review that document, it may sound like it's narrow, but I don't think it is. I mean, if you can't look at the document in its totality, then you're not reviewing it. But so that was one. Just let me sort of go through the
Reasoning.
series of concerns. So that's one element. If it's just a technical review of the contract, I don't think it's an exercise that's particularly worth doing. The second element is we really need to look at whether this project is good management for the Woodward property. As I look at it, you know, and I'll concede I'm not
I know
an
you
expert
missed-
on.
You missed the whole part Conscom did
No,
this.
well, I don't care who
Harry,
did it.
yeah, okay.
I don't care who did it.
Okay.
Is going forward is, as I look at it, I see in essence that nothing has happened this year with the Woodward land. As I look at it, I see a significant deterioration of the Woodward property since the last time that I looked at it, which was a year and a half or 2 years ago. And so I think we need to be evaluating this contract and this proposal to see, is it really best management practices for the Woodward property? And one of the things I thought we had at least decided at the last meeting that we had was to go to the license holder and say, can you please give us your management plan so that we can evaluate it? And that, if you're going to say that that's not part of the review of this document, then again, I think you're doing a disservice to the project. So my thinking, and I think Chris and Adam agreed, is that we really should be doing more than a technical review of that document, and should be looking at, and whether that's includes looking back and see what mistakes we might have made along the way. Sure, part of it. But from my point of view, it's really looking for, are we doing the right thing for the Woodward property?
So shouldn't we be doing that for every property? Should we be allowing Foss to be corn? Should we be, why narrow it down?
I'm not narrowing it down. We have in front of us the Woodward property. If we want to discuss Foss, we can do that too. I'm just saying, this vote interpreted as a narrow review is not adequate to the purpose.
Okay. Chris, do you have?
Yeah,
a vote?
I mean, I think in hearing the vote, my interpretation of supporting documents is all the documents that we, you know, the minutes and the emails and all the things that went into that document. So I think it's, you know, just saying that we're gonna review this wording is different. You know, we've had input, we've had comments submitted that really never got it into our docket, if you will, because we don't have a docket. But, you know, I was looking at it like supporting documents means.
It was not plural, it was document. I mean.
The
it's-
addendum, there's a
it's-
single addendum.
It's very clear, the ag license and supporting document,
Singular.
singular. And this is in.
What is the supporting document?
The supporting
The addendum,
document is what the.
Right.
and that's what has the most
Well-
glaring mistakes. It says things like, I don't
Well,
know.
But, and also the addendum does request a management plan from the Pro Native. So one of the things that you were asking about, Alex, is part of that addendum. It does specify.
I
a
guess-
And the
plan.
reason we
can't.
don't have that, by the way, is we don't have this, I'm sorry,
Thanks.
remind me this, tell you why we don't have that document.
Sure. I still think, you know, whether it's supporting document or not, I mean, you can't review the document unless you have all the background to see if the document reflects what we were looking for, right? So whether it says supporting documents, there's a document there that needs review. And other than grammatic review, unless you go back and see what we were trying to do with the document, if that reflects what we were trying to do, then it's not, even the way it's written, it's not that just narrow scope. We need to rewrite the document. I don't, and I guess I agree with the rest of the comments that
You helped us formulate that, motion. And I remember you saying it's a way of giving the subcommittee a charter to move forward and not get mired down with what had happened.
it absolutely was to move forward, right? So,
And that's why
if
we
we-
worded it the way we did.
right, but if you look at how things progress, one way to move forward is to make sure you don't make the same mistakes again. And you know, if we narrow what the committee can recommend, then you won't learn those things. I mean, this to me was a lessons learned type subcommittee to say, you know, yeah, we need to fix this document. We need to find out how we got to where we would do it.
But that's where the change in use protocol is coming,
Well,
and that was from
that's-
Adam.
And that was before us, that came from Conscom, so you wanna look back and you want the meeting minutes from Conscom, or you want their email, I mean, this could get
I don't know. I
really
mean,
big.
I don't want to debate it. I think it should be broader. Whether we need to re-vote on that is up to you, but I agree with Alex's comment that there's a lot of frustration that's still brewing about Woodward that reviewing the document won't solve. And
I disagree.
okay, I mean, that's why we're a committee.
Yeah.
The work of trying to fix the license and the supporting document. I think we should do that work and see where we all are once we get there. Maybe it's not enough, but I think that's a good concrete,
Yeah.
clear cut piece of work to do.
It's not.
Most of the complaints have been on that addendum document.
Right.
So I mean, the only other document I think that would be reviewed, it would be the CR that goes with it. Because
That's actually in it. That's in
that's
the
part of the
license.
license, right?
Yeah.
So,
And in theory, that addendum, it's referred to in the license, it should have been stapled to it. And it was done generically before the people even applied. So it's not unreasonable that we might make some changes to that. You have to wait, sorry. Before we and bring it back to the applicant, I mean, to the licensee and see what they think about it. But I just wanted to make a quick comment on the reason we don't have a management plan is the CR has never been made into a plot plan for the lot closest to Maple Street. So she doesn't know exactly what she's got, or, Grow Native doesn't know exactly what they've got. So that's why they've been apprehensive to hand us a plan. We could say it goes to the stone wall, because I don't know if you know, it's a little messy. The Adrian's driveway is actually on town land. It's not on their
All that
land.
stuff.
Okay, so that's the only reason we don't have a management plan for that. But anyway, we really wouldn't normally take public comment, but I'll give you a couple of minutes.
I just wanted to,
No.
mention.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Let me interject. I don't have strong comments on the scope of what needs to be done. I have awful comments on the process. I also don't care if the future is decided by the full committee or a subcommittee. What I do object to is instances where Woodward is put on the agenda as a one-word line item, and nobody has been tasked with organizing and limiting the discussion for that particular meeting. I think somebody has got to be asked or told, here's the scope, you decide what it is, of how we'll cover the next Woodward issue on the next meeting. Prepare a white paper, you or you or you or you, summarize what the issue is and what, even if it's a two-person or a one-person subgroup. It'd be good if it was two working together, no subcommittee. They come and before the meeting, they've laid it out. Here's what we have to decide tonight, and here's option A, B, and C, and here's our recommendation. Because we can't have a meeting with an unstructured, untimed discussion. Is that we have other business, as you know, to do. And the time limits obviously have to be somewhat flexible, but not too. So what I'm asking for is that if you go without a formal subcommittee, that the chairs and others agree that somebody's got to be prepared to detail what the scope is for that night and what the options might be and what the suggestions or recommendations are. Then you limit discussion. Those three things: preparation, recommendations, discussion, limitation. Otherwise, this committee will not get the rest of its work done.
Which has been the issue. We spent a lot of time on Woodward.
Which to me was the purpose of the subcommittee. Was
To
to
pull it out
not
of this.
take the whole committee's time
Yeah,
to discuss
I
all
agree.
these items.
I'll go either way, whichever, as long as there's a process, subcommittee, or if there's no subcommittee, manage the process in the full committee.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be a great solution.
I can handle it.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to wait because there's still, Judy hasn't got to say anything she wants to, or Shane. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say.
Can I just briefly, just
Is it
really
another
short,
bite of the apple or is it?
No, just is, we did have this subcommittee meeting. Whether they're good or bad because they haven't been reviewed, I don't know, but minutes were prepared and there were specific decisions taken at that meeting, which were to come back to the full LSC to talk about whether it's a committee or a subcommittee, what the scope of the review should be, and if it's a subcommittee, what the size of the subcommittee. So I thought the agenda tonight on Woodward was clear. I can see that it didn't get into
I just
the
want to
document.
say, as a person not on the subcommittee, you had your charter and you were supposed to make your group smaller than 6. Those were, and you didn't do those things. I mean, you know.
Because we couldn't even agree on what
on
the charter was, so you couldn't move forward. Because some people, if it's just to do exactly what you said we're gonna do, and I'm just gonna pick on Alex, he's not that interested to just edit a document, one document, right? That doesn't excite him,
That's fair.
right?
I'm not interested
So
in the process.
he
of
might
it.
drop out of that, but maybe we need another committee or subcommittee someday to talk about how all these things, I know your hand's up, but you really have to
Oh,
wait.
I wiped my eye.
Okay.
So sorry, I didn't show my eyes.
Okay. I mean, I think that's the first decision, so if we revote this and it doesn't change, then it's moot. We don't even need a subcommittee. Maybe we decide to do, what Warren's suggesting is get our act together. And, he comes in with this and he has specific things and we go to Woodward and we drift all over the place, right? Month after month. And it doesn't please the abutters and it doesn't, it's not efficient for us. We've missed doing a lot of work because we spend too much time on this land use permit.
So do we vote tonight on full of the subcommittee or not?
I think we first have to vote on
Charter.
deciding if we want to modify the vote. We already voted on it.
All right,
So it's mute needs it, you can't just say, I don't like that. We'd have to revote something different.
want me to, the charter was for the subcommittee of LSC to review and recommend edits to the Woodward Ag license and supporting document with input from stakeholders. You actually seconded that.
So the,
So, right, and if you're reviewing the document, and it depends, I mean, your scope, when you're saying reviewing this, right? That doesn't limit the scope. It's like, did we do the right thing with this document? So I don't,
no, I think
you
you're out of
can
it.
read
No.
this
Okay, so first of all, do you want to withdraw your motion?
No.
Okay. So do we want to, then we need to decide if we're going to ratify the motion.
It's the motion on the table.
What was the motion?
Just repeating what she said.
Provenzano
I asked,
to form a subcommittee of the LSC to review and recommend edits to the Woodward Ag license and supporting document with input from stakeholders. Vinnie seconded.
so my question was whether she wanted to withdraw it, and she didn't. So we're still in that motion. I guess then do we make a motion to ratify it, or do we just, I guess we don't have to.
No, somebody would make,
This is a previous meeting that was
Right.
voted on.
Right.
It's a question of interpretation, what that means right now.
She made a new motion. But no, did you make a new motion?
No.
That's reading.
I'm just reading the old one.
Previous vote.
Brian, before we move to a motion, perhaps it's time to take interested party comments.
Only because it is very applicable to what you're about to vote on, if you don't mind. Suki, you had said that it seems like if we just fix the document, which there, and I would be willing to be a volunteer to help you sort through the, what happened in these minutes. And, I've been feeding you guys that information. I would continue to do that to help to get to a good place. The reason we didn't talk about use is any time since February we brought up use, we were told to stop. We're not changing the use. It's not a topic. It was never allowed to be spoken of. And so that's why we've only focused on the document, because we were never allowed to talk about where the use came from. And I asked the committee again, 8 months later, you said the use was determined and you're going forward, you voted on it, majority, not unanimously. The only thing I can find that shows there was a recommendation was Judy saying, in her opinion, there was sent one set of minutes, this is the best use. That's it. One comment from the prior chair. I don't know where that came from, but
It came
again,
from
I'm not.
Conscom. It didn't come from here. It was
Decided
decided
earlier, I did a research and in earlier Conscom minutes,
It's not in
there
the
were,
LSC minute. The discussion is not in the LSC.
No,
minute.
that's what I was saying. I could only find that one comment
Right,
from.
because
But that's true looking in the wrong
discussion
board.
In the Conservation Commission's minutes.
Okay.
We
Do you know what?
inherited it.
I'd love to. Okay,
I
I'll
don't have
look
my
it up. I'll
laptop,
go
but
look.
yes. It
But
is in-
I would like to
I
volunteer.
believe they're actually online.
I'll
Here they
go.
are. That's
But
where I found it.
if you would take a volunteer to help sort out the nitty gritty details, I'm intimate with all of those documents
I know.
since February. Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if that's a legal thing or whatever.
I
or
don't
you
think
can-
it's, you're a
Or you
member of the
can-
public and we're talking about taking stakeholder input and you're a stakeholder. So of course.
Okay.
We'd be interested. I could use a little guidance here.
For me,
Brian, can I make another comment still as we were going around, I think,
Yes, right.
and commenting on it or having a chance to input before any, if we do that vote. I think that the prior, vote and the way we interpreted that or scoped it, it felt like, at least to me, agreeing to review the license was better than doing nothing. But I think that as we discussed it in the initial attempt to form the subcommittee, which was again with some questions from that Brian brought to the table around could we form the subcommittee or not, even previously, even as we discussed, what you heard from Alex was that the scope was likely insufficient to really solve for the problems that we're clearly seeing and that came as a result. So I think that before we discuss or make a decision, it's just a real reminder, whether we like it or not, we're here still talking about this because of the process by which this came to be the first time. And I think it was something that was warned of several times as this was going, that the process did seem rushed. So I think this is now less of a look back, and it's more of an opportunity to do a thorough review of that process, hold the genuine discussion with a complete picture, including the stakeholders, the abutters, the public, anyone else, and get the details even from the potential users and license holders as well. And whether we do this as a subcommittee or do it as a whole committee, to me, the process is the same. So it shouldn't be a question of what's the right way to do it. That's a pretty clear answer to me. I think as Alex stated, what happened is out there. It's generated real questions from the public. To me, I guess I would really ask everyone to consider what is the downside of going through a correct process, at least asking the questions and seeking clarity where it's lacking, because I don't see a downside. I do see a downside with trying to sweep this under the rug and so to speak, just demonstrating that we're not willing to have a full honest conversation on it and moving forward. I agree with Alex strongly that doing that will just further add fuel to this fire, and it's not going to set a good precedent.
Well, thank you. So we had 6 people at the meeting, 3 people you heard from, they all want to do a bigger project. And I just said, we can't do that yet because our charter was narrow. So unless the committee wants to change the charter, that's just the opinion of 3 people on it, and it doesn't change the charter. We may want to vote to do something different, but I do think it makes sense to first go through these documents and fix them up and see if that makes the abutters happier or on the other stakeholders. But we may not need to change, we would make some changes that it doesn't mean we're going to go and remove the license. We voted on the license. We advertised it publicly. So it's not a new thing.
And I guess I also have a question is, while Grow Native may not have had a management plan, they may have some grants or applications that would be affected by us, changing things.
That would be a good question to ask them. If we can review.
So I guess the first question is, do we keep the motion in place as it is, which disappoints some people, and go through this process? Does someone want to make a different motion and do something different? Or, and as I said, if you want to do a real look back, it shouldn't just be the Woodward property. It might be whether we're going to allow neonics on Foss Farm, and is that a change in use, and what does that do to the farmer? Or anything else. All those licenses can be canceled in 30 days if we decided we really wanted to change the use. Every single one of them.
Sure, but that's not the scope of what we're talking about.
No, but you're wanting to do it on one property, but not, I'm saying maybe we need something
to
generic.
address the issues that have arisen with respect to Woodward. That's all I want to do.
Okay.
All right. If subsequent or further issues arise with respect to other pieces of property, we can make a decision at that point. All I want to do is review the issues that arose with respect to Woodward. And what I don't seem to be able to communicate is that one of the things that doesn't seem to have occurred here is a determination of whether this is, to use Judy's terminology, best management practices for Woodward. So and the answer to that question has multiple different layers. The first of which is, what does Grow Native and Parterre intend to do?
Because it was way before that. First,
they haven't told us.
But it's what Conscom decided a change of use. We advertised the change of use. It doesn't matter which of the applicants we picked. It doesn't change what we decided.
So nothing here is about changing the use. It's about reviewing what's been done, seeing whether it's adequate, and whether we need to, and going back to the protocol, whether we need to recommend to CONSCOM some changes or additions. That's all. It's nothing, like I said, this may be the best idea in the world. I don't know. There's nothing inherently, in my opinion, wrong with this idea. Could be a great idea, but we have none of the details
So,
about how it's going to be implemented, how it's
No,
going to be done.
yes, I agree with that. We need that from Grow Native. But the timeline for this, I did send out a while back. I was hoping it was in the September packet, but I think it was in the August packet. I did send out a timeline of the change of use determination.
I saw it.
Okay.
I read it, and I thought it was very good. Thank you.
So that should clarify somewhat of how this came about. And I do agree though that Grow Native does need to do a management plan. So I hope somebody's already told them that.
I can answer some of that because I have been in communication with Heather, Grow Native. And that is, they've already done almost a full assessment and mapping of all of the invasive plants. But they can't figure out how to put it on a map because for some bizarre reason, the town of Carlisle has not figured out how to have the plot plan. Okay, that should have happened when it was sold to us. Okay, and it would have been good for the abutters to know what was their land and what maybe wasn't their land. Okay, so this has been a problem. So basically, all of our wondering what to do has made it so that Grow Native doesn't know if they should do anything. Okay, and then you add the most important thing for this year and part of last year, drought. Okay, the drought. If you look at Fox Hill is dead. Okay, I mean, it's not permanently dead. Okay, but it's totally brown. Okay, we're not looking at the farmer there saying, well, why is it not looking better? All right, there's a lot of non-native grasses at Woodward's. They're in there, they've been there for years, okay? But they don't look so bad when they're green, okay? And they don't look bad to people with less knowledge when they're mowed, okay? So having something native, for some people, it looks messy, okay? Native plants grow tall, they grow every which way, they provide a whole ton of habitat value for insects and this and that, but they don't look like a golf course. Okay, if we're gonna be looking at a conservation land and want it to look like a golf course, then we should operate it like a golf course, okay? And if we want it to be conservation land, like the CR says specifically, this is for habitat value, and you can allow agriculture on it, but you're not required. Look at the CR, it says it very clearly. And the most important part is this is adjacent to a whole bunch of very important special lands that are mapped. Okay, Great Brook, was it Great Brook? Not Great Brook.
Great Meadows.
Great Meadows, okay. All of that area is a huge wildlife corridor. And you just mow it and you spread invasive seeds everywhere when you just mow indiscriminately, okay? Then you have a different focus. And if that's what we want, then LSC has to say, we don't care about habitat value in this conservation land, okay? So the important part here is to make the abutters confident that this is not going to cause problems for them, okay? And to this point, we have still not heard exactly why they have concerns. You've mentioned the concerns, but why are some of them concerns? So I'm just saying, we can't do that now.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
bummer.
But we'll get it from you.
But we
Okay,
will.
because it's actually been in all of my documents. It's not about flowers. It's you're crowdsourcing farming. There's parking, porta potties. And we, you know, all that stuff. It's not just about the flowers, Judy. And I know that's the way
But that's
you
all in
want to say it.
that one document. So that's why I'm saying, it seems like your concerns are mostly in that addendum
And
document.
once that's edited, I think that hopefully we're gonna edit it to your satisfaction. There aren't gonna be school buses. There may never be a porta potty. That's not from the license, that's from the CR.
But when, I just want to make sure, because a lot of times Judy says, well, I think it's because you don't understand that we're planting flowers and it's agriculture. But actually what you're trying to do is have an arboretum and have people visit your arboretum, having educational events. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just a very significant change of use for our neighborhood. Maybe you have bus children, they come from somewhere else. Are you all quarried? Are you gonna, you know, there's like all these little details. Are you,
So
I know
again,
you're
that's
shaking
all
your head.
that's all in that one document. So I think the charter still holds.
but it's becomes
Sure,
an
the motion.
arboretum. It doesn't, it's wildflowers, but for the purpose of education is more an
But that
arboretum.
can be
is it not?
addressed in that one document, because
Okay.
that's where
Well,
it's stated.
but I just wanted to clarify, because I
Okay.
know it's been said many times, how can you not want a flower?
No, and I know you said, I remember you saying that it's
Thank
not
you.
about the flowers. Yeah, I do remember that.
Thank you, Suki.
So,
So guys, if we're not afraid to talk about the facts, then again, maybe someone else can make a motion that's more eloquent than this, but why don't we make a motion to simply review the Woodward change of use and the facts around it? Is that harmful to have a discussion around it?
I would say just because we inherited it from Conscom, then maybe you wanna go back to Conscom and let them, they're the ones who chose the change of use.
What an opportunity for us to solve it then.
no, I don't want to go through that.
All right. So you can make your motion, we'll see if it will pass. Can you make that clearly as a motion?
Is there anything we could build on it, or that, Alex, you'd recommend adding to that? I know you.
I think simple is better.
Right. Motion to review the facts around the Woodward change of use. Let's start there and see what we.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion, I have a second. Oh, and I guess I should say that. Yeah, the motion was from Adam and it was seconded by Alex. So I'm gonna take a roll call vote.
So, I'm sorry, the Woodward Charter is to review the change of the ag license change of use.
I'd be careful in using the word charter because we don't know
Yeah.
whether the subcommittee or not.
Yeah, just go with what,
My motion was just to review motion to review the facts around the Woodward change of use.
great, yeah.
And who seconded that?
Alex. You good?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take a roll call vote. Suki,
No,
Warren,
No,
Judy,
No.
Chris,
Yes.
Claudia,
No.
Jane,
No.
Alex,
Yes,
and the chair.
well,
you're
Adam,
gonna ask.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Adam. Oh, that's because I have you in the remote section. Adam
Yes.
and the chair votes no.
that's whatever, mine's 3 I and then whatever. 6 nay.
Does anybody else want to make a different kind of a motion?
No, the old motion is still.
Yeah, right.
Well,
But
I mean, we
I'm
still have a problem of interpreting the old motion, which has the word review in it. And it's reviewing a document. And, you know, you want to limit the scope of that review. That's that's sort of adding to that interpretation. And, you know, I guess it's clear. I guess I don't know. I think I don't know really where to go with this, but my sense is that we're going along this, you know, protecting the decision kind of route versus reviewing the decision and how we made it. Because I've never voted against, you know, growing native species and the whole concept.
I think you
I voted
yeah.
against things because we didn't follow a very good process and we didn't really vet the process. I've never been against what we're trying to do there. I'm not sure we're executing it very well. As Alex points out, it seems to be just deteriorating. And I think mowing something before it seeds is better than letting it sprout and seed. But that being said, I feel like the committee is really digging in because they're afraid a subcommittee can somehow magically change a decision made by the committee, and we can't. You know, the only purpose of the subcommittee is to bring a recommendation back, and the recommendation could involve a number of things. I mean, we've got this change of use thing, but I thought that should be really a task for the subcommittee. I don't know if we had that draft before, but it was the first time I reviewed it was last night. So.
Which draft?
The second part of the protocols, which was change of use.
That was new.
That's new.
That was new from Adam.
Yeah, and I think that could be a product of the subcommittee as well. So, you know, I'm disappointed that we're limiting the scope, but
so
I still think it's a matter of interpretation, and I don't know where to go.
So let me see if I can give you a place to go. We didn't agree on on his motion for a change of use, but there could be some other.
You didn't move for a change of use.
Well, for the review of the change of use.
Review the facts of it.
Review the facts of it.
We have a standing vote to form a subcommittee to review the document.
Right, and I'm saying, do you want to add some caveat to that motion? So, and change of use didn't work, but is there something else?
I don't want to do another vote and have the committee, you know, have another split committee. If there's something we can all agree on for a review by a small group who really, it's not about trying to change the committee's vote on what's happened. And maybe is it proper use is more of a review of the current license and what they're doing now. But no, I don't care to.
So
trying to get outvoted.
I think what Claudia had suggested earlier was to go forward with the existing motion, review the license and the addendum, and see if we can address all those issues that are on that document, see where it goes from there. You get the stakeholders' input, and then after you change it and fix things, bring it back, or we can hear from more stakeholders, and then you bring it back. I mean, but I think, work on that addendum and see what happens, see where people stand. Maybe everybody will be happy.
And my 2 cents not being on the thing, I'd like to see, the subcommittee move forward, not only with their stated scope, but there is no penalty for stepping outside the boundary, okay? Who's gonna sit here and say, well, they looked at something that wasn't authorized, so what? Okay? I think all of us open, if you address an issue the subcommittee thinks is important, and it doesn't fit exactly in your charter, so what? Bring us your best information and your best recommendation. I just don't see why it can't be made to work.
Right, so if there's a smoking gun, you're gonna see it. But, if there's really an issue,
Well, yes, why not? I'm a big believer in the truth. If there's some aspect of the truth that needs to be stated, then I'm all for it.
Well, Warren, I would love to agree with you because on principle, I really do. I think the issue is, and maybe to answer your question, why wouldn't the subcommittee do that? Because that scope can be used to shut down conversation immediately as soon as it's believed to be outside the scope of what the subcommittee was tasked to do. Otherwise, it would sound like a great idea to say, yeah, it's outside the scope, but you know what? We really should do this. And I think that's my logic of saying, if we really should do it, then what are we so darn afraid of?
Well, why not just have the whole committee do that?
right,
I mean, it seems silly to have subcommittees and the whole committee, a whole bunch of nights. Why not just go through it?
and
Whole
hash it
committee,
out. Yeah.
done.
Because I think a subcommittee is gonna end up with months and months. And if you start digging at stuff, I think the first thing is to give them, to figure out the document and the changes, and we can talk about that, like Suki said, and then we'll move on from there.
I'll just say in response, Judy, very briefly, that it's hard in a group this large to do the kind of wordsmithing that you're talking about, where you're looking at a document and people are trying to sort through what they think should be changed or the questions to ask some of the stakeholders. And so typically a subcommittee is created in order to have a few people doing that work, and they can typically move more quickly and it's more efficient. And then they bring back the results of their work and give full presentation about why they ended up where they did. But it's a real time saver generally when a subcommittee understands what they're supposed to be doing and it's small enough. That's the thing, when you have 5 or 6 or 7 people on a subcommittee, the more people you have, the more it gets to be, a whole group doing that kind of wordsmithing. And so that's why you don't have a subcommittee be that large. So.
But Lauren's idea was that we focus more, and if we could, if everyone looked at the document and we took, say, a butter input, it's the first I heard that it might look like an arboretum, and maybe that's true, it would look like it, and we need to discuss all that. So I think maybe if we process some of the document of another draft of it and pass it around, we might find that a lot of the issues are non-issues. One of the things that it said, the dogs have to be on a leash. Well, is that a requirement that the Grow Native has to, run around and make sure that dogs are all on a leash? That doesn't make sense.
But Barney's point about this subcommittee probably would work better and avoid some of the issues of quorums if it didn't have so many. So why couldn't that be fixed? Is that an unfixable problem?
Well, I think you'll find that 3 people definitely wouldn't be on the subcommittee that have very strong opinions in one direction already. How big do you want to make the committee?
Smaller than, so that you don't have a quorum for the whole LSC.
So it has to be less than 5.
Less than 5 or 5 or less?
I believe.
5 or less.
5 or less.
Yeah.
We only have 10 people now.
We only have
quite.
10,
Oh, so-
less than 5.
It's 5. Isn't it 5? If we have 10 people. 5 is the quorum.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I think it
SB4.
is.
It has to be 4 then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because
Just as a sidetrack, you said, Ryan said, or Conscom said, or somebody said, the subcommittee has to be appointed by
Conscom.
But can I point out in the minutes, I was just reading this and it says Murphy read portions of emails from the town clerk and the TA concerning the appointment and size of the subcommittee, suggesting that a subcommittee should be appointed by Conscom or by LSC in an open session by vote. which is what you all did to create the subcommittee.
Yeah, I think I got
And
input
should
after
be
that.
5 members or fewer. Is what's, so
So we've
What you
lost a
did was
member
fine.
since then, so we're down from 11 to 10.
no, but I'm just saying the first part of it, it can be done either by Conscom or by LSC.
But then Ryan came back and said it's supposed to be done by Conscom.
Well, we haven't said.
Well,
But,
Okay, this is, I'm just
No.
reading the minutes, that's all.
Yeah, but I'm talking about an email that came in after that.
right, but we've already got it there.
It would
so
be
let's
great if
go
we
with it.
could see these emails, if they could be circulated.
So what would you like me to write down in the note? The subcommittee needs to be appointed by Conscom or
I
no?
don't think you need to worry about
No,
that.
we're
I
just
think
saying
I
there
would
was a
just-
discussion on the topic of such
Of
and
the
such.
subcommittee appointment.
Yes.
But McLean doesn't think we should have a subcommittee.
I think he wrote he didn't recommend one or.
Yeah.
Right. But it was,
He hasn't sat through these.
no.
Exactly.
So then here's a different question. Somebody want to make a motion to take it out of subcommittee and have a review of the document first by the LSC as a whole?
I mean, I agree with Barney that to get through the addendum, that document would be better in a small group that could meet with all the stakeholders and then bring us back an
I agree.
edited document.
And
But we have to get down to 4 people,
and the subcommittee needs to be
4 people.
4 people and invested in doing the tedious work. of-
Yeah, so for example,
Document.
I don't really want to sit in a subcommittee and rake through all these old documents and talk about, I wanted to do what we agreed to do, which is to edit what
Which
we
is what
had.
we're doing. Yes, that's where we're at.
But we're not, because not to pick on Chris, but if Chris is on the subcommittee, he's gonna say, well, why shouldn't we? And
No,
and
so now
Adam
we
might
have to
say,
get-
what's
I think
what's
that we
wrong
have
with
to
looking
decide
at
who
it?
wants to still be on the subcommittee.
I think
And that might
you
boil it
two,
down.
acting like our great president and Doge, should use your great powers to pick one from each side of the table and fire them.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Well,
I would offer an alternative approach, maybe, when we look at sides of the table, I think, as you said it instead, look, someone else said the same thing earlier. I think that those who are best positioned to serve on this subcommittee should be, analogous to not having a horse in the race. Again, just to say we're truly going in open-minded. I think anyone who's so passionate about a particular view is automatically disqualified from this process because they're not going to be an objective, reviewer to kind of say, let's just look at the facts, not what the opinion is or what we want to do that. I think we've already gone through that process. I think what we'd like now is just to collect the facts. And as Alex said, maybe that becomes pretty clear that this is what we should do, or this is a really good situation, but it's being able to mediate and arbitrate the situation between all the stakeholders in a way that's truly honest and open and having a conversation that's not closed-minded to anything else or to any particular outcome.
I'm just worried you're turning this into a 6-month project that's gonna have a report this thick.
Yeah,
Whoever wants to serve on the committee, on that subcommittee would be, most concerned with that, I guess.
And you could also set a timetable. And you could charge this subcommittee to do the thing that was voted on. And say that you'd like to have their recommendation, their report back by, whatever you want to set by the end of the year.
But for example, to take one of the abutters who's in the room, she might need an hour or 2 hours to present her opinion. And then we need to modify our document to meet, I mean, she's already given us sort of
Well,
what
but-
she needs.
But that's up to the subcommittee to figure that out. You don't.
So we're gonna have two people who perhaps who want something very expanded and two people who want something narrow. And how do you think that's gonna?
I
work?
don't think, well,
Yeah.
we don't have things that people who are, the charter is clear. We had the license and the addendum, and that is it for this subcommittee.
But not if, I don't think that's what Adam's saying. Adam's saying what,
Warren.
or Warren, why are you afraid to look?
I-
It's not
We're
that
not
we're afraid to look,
afraid to
it's not part of the charter.
It's not part of the charter. I don't know that that's what. And if find some more questions at the end of dealing with this, after dealing with just these documents, then we can go on and deal with that. But right now, we just gotta clean up the license and the supporting document.
And one way you could do that is to say, the LSC would like the recommendation back from the subcommittee by X date regarding the agreement, the license and the addendum, period. And then if as you just said, Sugi, and then they could also identify other issues that need to be addressed beyond that.
Yes.
I don't know if that works for everybody, but that's one way you
I
could
think it worked
stipulate it.
in principle and, whether it will in fact, just because life often gets in the way. But yes, I like it.
So maybe we'd have to have feedback from the subcommittee after the first meeting, whether it was,
Or does anybody wanna drop out right now? Or do they wanna think about it and then?
Well, there's
submit it?
6 people on the subcommittee.
Right, so you need 2 to drop out,
I'll get out.
so.
you have the most information.
Well, nobody wants to hear the information. Sorry.
Well, isn't it gonna be up to Conscom to appoint?
Yeah, but we have to recommend who we, just
I
like,
think Barney said we didn't have to,
I'm just quoting your.
but
No, I know,
But
but
evidently
Brian
you're
is saying
saying
he's got
something
something
came after
from
that.
Ryan.
yeah, something came after that from Ryan.
Well, in the meantime, that could just be clarified, right, by you reaching out to Ryan with a very
I
specific
don't think I
question.
need to, I can show you the email. He said, I don't recommend that you do that.
Well, it's a
But that's different- That's
recommendation.
different from him saying
You
the
can't-
LSC cannot appoint a subcommittee.
That's not what he said.
Okay, well then,
He recommended that we do it as a full,
Yeah, but it's,
Right, but that's-
you say
you're
it's a
saying-
recommendation.
we're sorry,
not
we
a
don't care for his
prohibition.
recommendation, we're going a
Okay.
different way.
all right.
So, and we appointed we have a subcommittee, but it's too big,
So we're down to what, we're at 5?
we're at 5.
And we need to be at 4? I think if Al, who else do we have? We have Alex and Chris and what, Brian and
Shane.
Shane,
Shane?
I'm worried how we're gonna do this without you.
there's no reason you can't
Yeah.
consult.
Yeah,
or
you can have
have
enough.
someone.
I mean, it's sort of like,
Yeah.
he's not on this board, but he certainly gave us a lot of input that we could have
Right.
flailed along if we didn't have it.
Well, all you have to do is be looking at the support document, which is the one that seems to have most of the concerns, and
Mhm.
eliminate them.
Okay,
You don't
Makes
need, I didn't write any of those are from the CR.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I will
Yeah. I would take, guys, if we're gonna do this again, if I was on the subcommittee, it's like I have no problem spending that time. But I think if Alex and I have the same perspective on just opening and like listening to the different inputs. So if it's just a matter of getting down to 4, I'm happy to step aside and let that team actually start the work.
You're,
Did you do it?
you're preempting me. Do you wanna flip a coin for it?
He offered to,
Well, I want to make sure.
so do you want to flip a coin with, Alex or what?
I think, Alex, you have much more experience, so I'll be glad to defer to you.
Right, so is the new committee now, or the subcommittee is Brian?
Murphy, Spinney, Usher, and Karen.
Right.
And the LSC, you all should take a vote on that being the membership,
Yes.
Okay.
those 4 people.
Somebody wanna make a are you, well, you're not making a motion, you're
Say
waving
goodbye,
goodbye.
Barney.
All right.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion to, do you actually, Claudia, do you have?
So I added to the minutes, I copied and pasted the old charter. So it will be in this round of minutes, which basically says your charter is to review and recommend edits to the Woodward Ag License and supporting document with input from stakeholders. And then the members of the subcommittee are Murphy, Spinney, Usher, and Para. I move that this,
We accept the the resignations of, why don't you say I move that we accept the resignations of,
I move that we accept the resignations of Chernacki and Azarkov.
And
It's the
just,
most complicated
So-
last name.
oh, sorry, second.
Okay.
Okay, so it was moved by Claudia and it was seconded by Alex. Take a roll call vote. Suki,
Aye.
Warren,
I,
Judy,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Claudia,
Aye.
Shane,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Adam. I didn't forget you this time, Adam.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye and the motion passes.
I was gonna say that the second thing is to move the process forward is, can you take on the task of determining for sure whether LSC can appoint the subcommittee or whether it has to be CONSCOM?
Oh, so can we just, even if we don't need this, can we make like a pocket motion and say, if we're required to go to CONSCOM, it's the recommendation of the LSC that these 4 people, does that make sense?
Well said, and if that's not a motion, I'll
I
second
can't
it.
make a motion.
Then I move that.
So moved.
Okay. All right, so,
We're done for today. Here's to do future. So 10 through 14 will get
No.
moved forward. I'm sorry, not,
Well, we don't. Well, we know we don't have to because 11 we looked at and 14 we looked at.
but we didn't finish them.
okay,
We
so
weren't expected to finish.
you moved it, you seconded it.
I'll second
Okay, and it just says that, Kara moves that Murphy will take the recommendation that the above, I'll fix this, the elected subcommittee members and charter to CONSCOM if necessary. The recommendation for.
And obviously, first I will see if we have to do that.
Yeah,
but,
if
I mean, I'll do
necessary.
that tomorrow.
Elected Woodward subcommittee members. We have to vote on that.
Can you read it back?
I'm moving, Para moved that Murphy will take the recommendation for the elected Woodward subcommittee members and charter to CONSCOM if necessary. Spinney seconds.
So
That's the motion. We get to vote.
get a vote again. Okay.
second if it wasn't.
It was, but yeah.
To-
Right. So we'll take a roll call vote. Suki,
Aye.
Warren,
I,
Judy,
Okay, I'm sorry, can you reread what was the change?
This is just, in case we can't appoint a subcommittee, Para moved that Murphy will take the recommendation for the elected Woodward subcommittee members and charter to Conscom if necessary.
So they would get approved in the next conscom meeting.
Thank you.
I think we also could probably meet before then and have a discussion, right?
When is next conscom?
You wanna finish voting?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's enough. We have enough.
Okay. So we got Alex, Adam, did you vote?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye and the motion passes.
I
You missed a-
kind of missed.
Oh, I'm so sorry. How did I get to Adam then?
You didn't.
Chris?
Aye.
But did I,
No, you didn't. You just got me and then.
I'm sorry.
got
Okay,
distracted.
so Warren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Chris,
Aye.
Claudia,
Yeah.
Shane, Alex,
Aye.
Adam,
You did
Aye.
not.
and the chair votes aye.
Okay.
And the motion passes. I'm sorry about that. Okay. I have two different lists depending on who's remote and who's local. Because everybody could have been on Zoom, so that's why I. Doesn't really work.
I know we're probably gonna jump to adjournment here. If I don't know if we're gonna skip some things.
We're gonna have to,
I
What we
just
said
wanna
we-
give you guys 2 minutes on the Cremery Bog #1. Do you have it?
okay.
We should get it.
So we've been working to clear the dam. I think, I don't know who's taking charge of emergency repairs. But they're worse than I
Megan.
reported the last meeting. I showed you that it went in 4 feet.
Yeah.
I went back and I went in 4 feet and then I tipped the 8-foot pole I was using up and put it in whole 8 feet and then up to my shoulder, right? So the hole in the Cremery Bog goes right up to the,
Yeah, good.
and I'd say about 40% of people,
Ignored the show. Yeah.
I was gonna say abide by the channels.
But I've been out there and there are just bikes whipping by on the top.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
they don't.
and I don't know, so Megan is working that.
So Megan is, I believe they're putting it out to bid that they can't do anything until the trapper comes tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the beavers too, but I
So the
looked
lodge
over
has
there
to be
the other
removed.
day.
Yeah.
And this is, I wish I had some photographs, but I saw a cache of sticks.
Oh, you did? Which,
Well, I thought I saw, but today I see that it's gone and I was wondering if they were moving out. But it doesn't look like it, I guess, because I got a photograph today of a beaver. So, and then.
but it's not gonna matter after tomorrow, so
Yeah,
he
well,
gets $1,500 a beaver, so he's pretty excited, I'm sure.
right, there'll certainly be more than one.
Well, it actually, sometimes it just looks like one, because I was there every night with lots of cayenne and repels and
Is that what
Fresh
the orange
flowers.
stuff is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cayenne.
Oh.
And that was a good way for me to tell if they were doing repairs, which they weren't.
Hmm.
So, and then red pepper flakes you saw out there. I've done everything except for the urine. Because Dr. Waddle said it's artificial urine, it's synthetic urine, and they say, yeah, that's not a real mountain lion.
I guess if it's gonna be any length of time before we get some repairs done,
It's just.
I think we should consider some, like collapsing them.
Some
Just
what?
collapsing the tunnel,
Right.
collapsing the,
The top
you
of the
know,
day.
Yeah,
just-
so nobody gets hurt.
So, and Chris, what about
It goes down.
cleaning out in front of the flume so that if there ever was water, it would go out immediately, not when it got
I
out?
don't think, I personally don't think the water will get that high before that dam goes through, but
Oh, you're saying the holes are lower than
the
the,
hole is at the water line now, which is, well below even the slope of the flumes.
but I was thinking if we took the slope out in front and took the boards out now, so it couldn't
I mean,
get,
it would still get right into the big hole is right at the water line. There's actually 3.
But it's so, it might take the pressure off.
It
of having
would
to break
be
through.
low pressure, but but certainly that's on the agenda to clean those things out before the water. There's not been any rush to get them cleaned out, but
But it could have happened this weekend if that storm really was what they said, but it
I
wasn't.
don't think so. That would be 2 inches of rain. And so far, we got over an inch of rain in the Fisk Street side.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, the water went up less than the rain gauge, which is curious. I don't know how that happened. The water goes up an inch, it doesn't go anywhere. It must have just,
Yeah,
it just goes up.
Yeah,
It just goes out.
I mean, floodplain.
Yeah, it just went out. But it actually went up less than the rain.
So again, should we clean those out so that,
Yeah, that's, I mean,
is that DPW? Do we need
It's not-
to?
it's what the friends have been doing is keeping it clean. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But I
That's
just
how we
think that,
noticed
that
that.
helps keep the pressure if something happens.
It looks like somebody did some cleaning of the small one. You know, maybe John over there cleaned it up a little bit.
I didn't notice that the other day.
I mean, it's not completely clean, but it's not as packed as it was.
Okay. So in terms of that timeline, yeah, I think she was gonna put it out to bid this week. We have to get the lodge off, not just the beavers, but the lodge off the dam before they can start anything.
The trapper's the only one allowed to do that.
So they have to remove that even though the repair is away from that lodge.
Yeah, you can't have it on the dam.
But can they start at the other end of,
This
can they start at
emergency
the other
repair,
end?
it either should be collapsed, very soon. But, okay, I'll see what,
So if you can't, will you let Suki or me know so that we could get the town if we have to?
what's that? Yeah, there's no exigent circumstances there right now for those. Yeah, certainly we'll keep them clean.
Okay.
I think if we don't vote on the mowing contract, we can't look for a mower for the rest of this year.
Okay,
So
so can I get a motion to vote on the mowing contract?
the mowing contract is exactly the same as it's been the last bunch of years. It just has a no name on it. Okay, it was written by Ryan, not by me. It's exactly as he and the town council agreed was appropriate. So
All right.
Sure. Make a motion.
I make a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I move to accept the agreement for mowing services for the town of Carlisle, Massachusetts.
Any properties in particular? Or,
All
Yeah, that's
all the
what-
ones that we've always done, which is Toll, Benfield, Fuss Farm, Cranberry Bog, if it's required by Chris and Alex. But right now you guys are doing a separate budget for that.
There will be some, so it's good to have it on.
Yeah, it's on there. And it says the mower must communicate with land stewardship committee members. And as recommended by Sudbury Valley trustees, to clean their equipment before bringing it to Carlisle.
And what about Carlisle to Carlisle? We wouldn't want the thistle from,
It says, let's see, what did they write? Yes.
This is private
Oh,
visit.
any field within Carlisle. Okay,
To clean between any.
I'll read it. The mower must, as recommended by Sudbury Valley trustees, who sometimes work closely with LSC, clean and rinse their equipment prior to visiting any field within Carlisle to avoid introducing noxious invasive plant seeds to our conservation areas.
that still doesn't mean I have to clean it from one property to the next. I could mow Woodward and then go mow
Okay.
Foss, right? So we,
Okay, so we can make an edit and then vote on the edit.
Okay.
I mean, I think it does.
You can say vote,
No, better make that clear.
presuming that you'll be doing it.
Yes, yes,
Does this, a single year or multi-year?
it's, they're all single year.
Single year.
Yeah, it's just that we just redid it for Sam
So
Bell.
this will be for the current fiscal year?
And next year,
Okay,
yeah, because
Yeah,
we
25
have,
and 26.
because we had one for Sam Bell and then he
Okay.
pulled out from everybody. So it's
Okay.
Did Sam do the slopes of the bog?
What's that?
Did Sam do the bog?
Oh, he was
No.
supposed to do the bog and then,
We had
Duffy
we
didn't.
tossed it in there, but it turned out Conscom also had a budget for the bog.
Yeah.
And so they did it.
So do you just need an or in there or any? property?
No, I think, how about clean up their equipment between visits to any field within Carlisle? Right,
Prior to and between.
in between.
In between, yes.
And then
Because
you
it
want to,
takes, they usually do them different days, so they go back home and rest.
and then you just want to cross out the last line on the first page to believe Chris and Alex.
Just completely get rid of cranberry bog?
No, just to believe Chris and Alex are creating a separate.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was for discussion, yes. Okay,
And there's just a typo in the toll land second paragraph. Just check the spelling is sensitive.
and so, sorry,
That's- So it's just for one mowing then? It's one mowing at the end of the season?
yeah, after the hard frost,
But for 2 years, this
Yeah,
year
for
and
two- yeah, so one this year and
Yeah.
one next year.
we're doing it this year, if we can find anybody to do it this year.
Right.
And then we'll be ready for next year, so this would be the number that would go into the budget for 27.
And did you fix in the title? Ryan had a typo. What's the title of the document? The title of the document?
Agreement for mowing services, town of Carlisle.
Yeah, I think agreement was spelled wrong in a prior version, that's all.
Is this in the package?
yeah,
Yes.
it's under proposed mowing scope.
Yeah, it's in the Google Docs,
Yes, I didn't.
agreement for mowing services for the bog.
All right, do we need to repeat that motion so that somebody can?
Ask your council members to accept the agreement for mowing for the town of Carlisle with the agreed
With
edits. Or discussed edits. For 2026 and 2027.
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, so it was moved by Judy, seconded by Claudia. Take a roll call vote. Suki,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
Judy,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Claudia,
Aye.
Shane,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye, motion passes. So can we do our meeting dates?
Two of them,
Uh,
3 of them?
in the subcommittee, three, it would be good if we could just do it right through the end of the year.
Which would be 2 for the full committee.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We're in future meeting dates for
Oh.
November and December.
And I guess the subcommittee doesn't really need to meet on necessarily on a Tuesday.
That would be good.
They met on Thursday last time.
As long as it's not Conscom.
So the second Tuesday of November is Veterans Day. So I'm sure that will not be allowed. So we could meet on the first Tuesday, which is election day, so maybe that's not allowed either.
That's definitely, man.
So I guess we're
How
not,
about the 18th?
or do we want to go to a different day?
What about later this month for the special one?
No, the 28th?
Well, November's gonna be kind of full with those holidays.
Those
and-
days and then Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should only have one meeting in a full meeting in November. And the other one,
28th.
the special one, probably later this month.
So the 28th.
The 28th.
What's this special one for? Just Woodward or?
No, Warren stuff.
Oh,
That
that's
thing
right.
Oh, wait, we're getting tired.
Forgot about
What,
that.
what's in the subcommittee?
So what was that, 18th?
No,
The 28th.
10/28.
So this is October, not November.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a special meeting just to talk.
To do our
Z,
table Z.
Table Z, that table, we only got halfway through page one.
Table Z and budget or just table Z?
just table.
No, the budget, I think should wait, because, yeah, and it's not gonna be that big, I hope, unless people really wanna argue about items in the budget.
Mm,
They might want.
I was just asking.
So do we need to do this in person, or could we do it as easily on Zoom where you get to, everybody's gonna have the document right in front of them
Well, I tell you, I don't hear as well
on Zoom?
on Zoom. But
I actually find it's very hard to sort out who says what
On Zoom?
when I'm
Okay.
on Zoom, because
yeah, I can,
this is just one person. And when I'm trying to take the minutes, I attribute things to people who didn't say. It's just.
Well, I was only offering that, we were talking about a bunch of meetings and I was trying to.
that doesn't mean you can stay at home on Zoom.
No,
Yeah, Warren and I will come, but I don't know who's gonna set that up. We need to.
Okay,
10/28 special meeting for table Z.
yeah, and now for our regular one, then the 18th,
I think you don't have a choice, yeah.
the other one's the week of
November 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, November 18th?
yeah.
And December, did somebody say?
We didn't say it. The 9th? You don't wanna make it,
I mean, I
don't
think
wanna get
that
too close to Christmas.
it was a proposal to target the first Tuesday of each month. Obviously, we
Second
can't,
The second,
second one.
Yeah.
So the 9th. Let's see, do the math right, that would be the second one.
yeah, it is the second.
November 18th.
We don't need to vote on those, do we?
No.
Okay, but I do need to. I'll tell you guys that I'm gonna provide this to Reagan tomorrow, because she wants to know when our meetings are, so. All right, can we plan the meeting, I guess I have to ask you, Alex, can we, if we have to get approved by Conscom and we haven't been approved by the next time we might meet, could we just call that a strategy session and not it wouldn't be official?
I don't think that's,
No?
No, I don't, that doesn't work, but well, you don't know when next conscom meeting is.
I don't remember, we met last week.
So this is then, it's 2 weeks.
You know.
Oh, it's probably
Clarify that it's not necessary then.
It could be planning, because you know, your real meetings
Gotta
are gonna
drop, guys. Good night.
Night.
Okay.
you're gonna invite the stakeholders. So just sorting out who you're gonna invite and what you're gonna have,
So if you met last week,
strategizing
you're gonna be meeting on the
your
23rd.
official meetings.
Okay,
And it's gonna,
I can check on the
you
website.
know, you can't do that. I guess,
so Conscom is next on the 23rd, if we really had to go to them,
So
but could we just,
pick a date after the 23rd.
you don't think we can, but if we don't need, if I call tomorrow, and we don't need them, if we pick a tentative date, we could drop out of it?
Sure. Yeah.
Does that work for you guys?
yeah, because you can't really plan.
And do we need to meet in person the first time, or can we do it on Zoom? Or do you care?
Well, I care in the sense that I think one of the first steps should be to invite the license holder to meet with us.
Then it should be in person, probably.
You know,
And you should probably ask her before you make the date.
So, do you
Well,
know,
we can pick a tentative date and then ask her.
but oh, and I guess we have to post, do we have to post our meetings if it's still a quorum if it's 4, right? Okay.
No,
No, it's not a
No.
quorum. So it's
That's
not
why
an
we made it
LSC
4.
meeting, but you will have to post as a subcommittee.
Well, I was looking for the flexibility that if I talk to her in the next couple of days and we emailed and picked a date, but we have to vote on the date good to vote on the date in a
No,
public hearing?
No.
I think you can set the date.
No, you could just set it, I think.
You can set it without a public hearing.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want me to, do you want to pick some tentative dates, or do you want me to talk to her first?
Well, let's pick a tentative date, and if she's not available,
Okay. So do you want to do it this month?
sure.
She's the executive director, so she's very busy.
So,
It's an invitation. She doesn't have to come.
and then do you want to do it on a Tuesday, or do you guys?
Thursday might be a good night too. Mhm.
Thursday is the conscom meeting.
Every other Thursday or something.
Yeah. Do you want to meet on the October 21st, tentatively?
Is an outside chance.
It's a Friday.
Employed.
Huh?
October 31st?
No, 21st.
Oh,
The 31st would be Halloween, and that would.
Yeah, I know.
Why not?
I'm sorry, there's a chance what that you might not be around.
I may,
Well, would you be comfortable with us just planning who we're gonna have attend without? I don't think it's gonna be a big debate. If it's really just planning, oh, but we want to invite her, but.
I think it's
Right.
frame at least some of the issues to have a conversation.
But shouldn't we go through the document first so we know what we want to ask of?
I hope that the committee has looked at the document before meeting and knows what we want to ask her, or what the members want to ask her.
So. Again, this is sort of out of proper order, but if we took the document and we took, for example, the feedback we had from Sue, and kind of, wouldn't that help us develop better notes about what we wanted to talk to her about? Because, you know, if field trips are in there and school buses aren't, then do we want to ask her if she's gonna have you know? We might miss an opportunity. Maybe it takes reiterate passes, but we might miss an opportunity first pass to ask her some things if we don't look at the document and take the little bit of, maybe there's a lot more stakeholder input.
Look, I'm not committed, so.
I'm just
if
looking
you-
for a
if you-
plan. If you have a better plan,
No, I'm fine with that.
or do we wanna, do an hour of, I don't know if it would take more than an hour to match up Sue's document to that document, just enough that we could make the questions and then ask her to come in at, 8:00? And do them both at once with that?
I think that's a good plan.
What do you think?
It's okay by me.
It's a little more efficient than trying to do two meetings,
Yeah,
so go with it.
well, I'm just trying to get Chris look like he was in deep thought.
I'm trying to unpack it all. I don't really know. Yeah,
So I know what?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
I don't know.
All right,
The
well,
answer is.
If nobody knows, then
I don't know
let's
what's
try
up.
it my way.
Yes.
When it fails, we can try it somebody else's
That's a
way
good
next time.
idea.
All right,
It's fine.
so I'll try to invite her on the 21st. Is there a second date you want to pick? If she says I can't do that date, it's, my wedding, whatever. We're meeting on the 28th. Do you want to try to pick the 23rd conscom? The next day, the 22nd, Wednesday?
If you set the 21st as the first meeting, subject to Chris's availability. And then a week later, the second meeting, and if she can't come to the first, maybe she can come to the second.
Oh, okay.
Well, the second is,
It's the 28th.
That's our
Our
meeting.
meeting.
All right, so, and the 4th is election. How about how about November 5th? We
How
can all,
about could you do the 27th, Monday? Or the Wednesday, the 29th,
oh, yeah.
Chris?
I could do either one of those.
I'm sorry?
I could do either one of those. The 7th or 29th. I'm,
All right, so I'm gonna propose to her the 21st, 27th, to the 29th. And I guess if she can't make it, we should still meet and make our
Yeah.
document. I think it'll just be a shorter meeting.
Wow, that'd be nice.
These at 8 a.m. What time of the day?
7 PM, I hope.
Same.
So just another question. If we're not gonna meet with the stakeholder at the first meeting, do we wanna do it on Zoom or you wanna do it in person?
I prefer in person.
Okay, good.
I'm not good with Zoom.
I hate going on Zoom.
Do you have on your listed to-dos, the NOIs? I did my best to look online. We have a tool on our Carla website.
You analyze for what?
Oh, I thought you were doing an NOI for Woodward Field. Oh, I looked up the abutters. You can do it. There's a GIS type
Yeah,
of thing on
yeah.
our website. There's 20, if Kay's Walk is treated as one, there's 23 abutters to the conservation land.
Okay, yeah, we weren't gonna do any NOI.
Oh, you weren't?
on
Oh.
Woodward. No, you have to do that if you're gonna do work within a
I
hundred
think
feet.
she's talking about notifying the abutters, is all. Notifying
Thank
the
you, thank you.
abutters.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Translation.
Okay, yeah, I think
Yeah.
when we have a stakeholder meeting with the brothers,
Yeah.
this won't be their first meeting, then we will try to notify all of you. But I guess, I don't know if we have to send them all certified mail or how we have to do it,
I
but,
think Sylvia said you could do it a little bit cheaper,
Yeah.
not certified, but.
and then, just so you know, that it's called a certified butters list. We don't pick the list.
Oh, yes, I know. You pay $50 to the
Well, yeah.
assessor or whatever.
And they'll tell us
Yeah.
who the list is.
Yeah, so I did it on my own, so my my math is probably not perfect, but as best I could tell, it was at least 23 if you count ways, the Woodward Village as one. So there's quite a few abutters, not just 3 that we were previously talking about. So I don't know if you have to give them notice, a couple weeks notice or whatever. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention if that
Well, it
was,
won't be the first meeting,
oh, for sure.
yeah, but we'll have to.
And you're still
sign
trying
that
to
list.
figure out the right dates and everything. So I know it's a process, but I just didn't want it to get
It won't be Christmas Eve.
lost. No, I mean, lost in the fact that there's actually a little bit more butters than we think.
So we didn't actually vote to decide if we wanted to do a butter list. I just thought that was. Because that's spending money. Do we have to approve that?
The town will charge you for the abutters list. won't they?
No, for the postage.
To the mail.
They'll charge you for that.
Crack just sends, I mean, I live next to a trail. They just send me, when they're gonna come and walk the trail, they just send me by regular mail. And
Yeah.
then after they walk the trail, they just send by their evaluation by regular mail. I think that's sufficient.
So if we do that by regular mail, would you be willing as a volunteer to talk to do the checklist and see if people got it?
Oh, yeah, I could be a volunteer for that.
Okay.
Sure. You'd have to share the list with me because.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, I hopefully it matches
Crystal
mine,
ball,
but.
yeah.
Yeah, I would help with that.
All right,
Sure.
cool. All right. Is there anything else we
So
should
the
do?
only
before
thing
we wanna
we didn't
adjourn?
do was the Tollville, and Cranberry Bog invasives contract. We did everything else on this.
I think that
agenda.
can jump till next month.
Yeah.
So we got, the
Yeah, let's-
the subcommittee, the 21st and the 27th,
Or the
or
29th,
the 29th.
but it's iffy on Chris for the 21st.
yeah, it's pretty, we're on,
How long would it take you to know?
I should know by tomorrow.
Okay.
Me and an appeal to take a trip. But I'm not even getting paid to work, so. I'm gonna get a trip to take a trip.
So you'd have to pay for your own hotel.
I'd be willing to do it.
Very-
but we have to do it.
I second.
Okay,
To adjourn, so.
I think we can just
Yes.
agree. Alex is gone. I mean,
And
don't forget to
everybody's
close the
on there.
recording, stop the recording.
Oh, we have to stop the recording.